Let's get it. Let's get it. get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final day, day number 5 of the regional finals of PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021. And of course, we are in the Nepali region that we are talking about. And quite some action going on already along with Carnage having a whooping lead over there, already crossing that 200 mark. PN crew also in the chase, as we have other squads also joining the fray. We've got the likes over there, even of the teams like JyanMaara and the rest to follow. We did see some good performances coming in from Vibes. But moving along, last final 4 games, and what do you expect is going to happen, Necro?
Well, I mean, to be honest, the way Carnage is playing, I really feel like Carnage might be the one. But yesterday, we did see P and Crew actually step their game up way up there. So, I mean, I really want to see also P and Crew decimate the complete factory there. But now, one more team that I really want to see take the step of success is definitely going to be Giant Mara as well.
Yeah, I mean, JyanMaara certainly can do it. And with
Hmm.
the way the boys of PN Crew are playing, I mean, I'm kind of surprised as to how good they are. And by the way, moving along, today we will have, of course, our 3 victors, those 3 teams that will be qualifying for the PMPL. We've, of course, seen our 3 teams from the Bangladeshi region, and it was quite an entertaining
Yeah,
one right till the
yeah.
very end. So I'm also kind of presuming that all these matches, will finally end down and come down to the final spot where we have the third position being contested between quite so many teams. So as we move along further, if we talk about the other teams in contention over here, let's take a look at the road to PMPL, because that pretty much describes it. That pretty much says how the entire journey is supposed to be. And there you have 3 teams from Bangladesh, 3 teams from Pakistan, 2 teams from Wildcard South Asia, and 3 teams, of course, from this particular region will be qualifying forward for the pre-pro league. And there you have Zeus and other invited teams already who have got their slots booked.
Indeed, but now I really want to focus a little bit on the Bangladeshi region, what happened there, and just the overall competition that we saw there, the overall cat and mouse chase between God's Reborn and even the team of A1 Esports 1952 was just an absolute fascinating thing to witness. Is something going to be happening over here? The same thing, will it be happening in Nepal region? This is what I really want to see, because of course the point gap is certainly not that big between those top 8 positions. And this is what I really want to see. I mean, of course, Carnage does have that massive lead going in forward, but now it's between those 2nd to 8 positions. Which team will be contesting those positions? But now, taking a look at the prize pool, of course, we all have been seeing the standard prize pool distribution, 29,200, and of course, the first one is going to be getting the massive chunk.
Yeah, of course, the first position of will be receiving the massive chunk, but we've kind of had a few disappointments.
Hmm.
Team Elementrix, of course, being one of them. Team Hype also being one of the major disappointments over here. We had high hopes from them, and seems like as if they'd failed off. But right now, let's take a look at the point system and how do you earn those points. The final time all these teams will be battling it out. In those four
Hmm.
games that we have. The first
So.
position, of course, getting those 15 points. Second, getting 12. Third, getting 10, and so on down till 13 to 16, where you get nothing, and just that one kill point coming out. So, moving on forward, we've seen comebacks being made over here. So many
Hmm.
teams have got that potential, and it's just not P and Crew. It's also the boys from Team Raw who have a very good
Yeah.
chance. And I mean, anyone in those fifth, sixth
Hmm.
spots, if they really get those chicken dinners up, if they really get those high kills, high chicken up, then certainly they might qualify. But let's move on and check out the squads that are being are in within us for the last final time. We did also see the players from GRHV putting up quite a show yesterday, and PNQ, we do know these lads have got it in them. But as we move along further, so Vibes is a team that was trying so very hard yesterday. They did get some high kills games, but they're just not there up until now.
Indeed, of course, they're not there that easily. I mean, of course, the struggle will be coming in as well, but certainly the ways are not close for Vibes as well. If they keep on doing really good as they're doing, of course, there might be a little bit of chance that they might make it. Of course, team like Team Cops as well do have a little bit of chance, but what we are talking is not a single mistake should be made by any of these lads. If they actually do, then things might be over for them.
I mean, yeah, we did see H2o, trying to be the spoil spot within everything. But we did
Yeah,
also see the players from KWIN play out of the mines yesterday. The kind of a
yeah.
gameplay that they put up on the table. So I think it's kind of a bit late today, but anything can possibly happen if they kind of have four really good games. You never know; they might make it to the top three. And before we get started with all our matches, let's take a look at the current storyline that we have built up over here. So we've got Carnage, we've got PNQ, we've got GRHV, and also Ruthless Aggressive Warriors and JyanMaara. So I think up until 6th, 7th position, if JyanMaara, Cops, or Vibes really get a chicken dinner early on, including Team Ruthless Aggressive Warriors, maybe they can be in the race. But pretty
Mhm.
much GRHV, PNQ, and Carnage are looking pretty solid.
Indeed, they are looking pretty solid. And one more team, PWP over there. Yesterday, we did see them actually doing so good. And are they going to be making it to top three, though? That's the massive question going in. Of course, JyanMaara does have some of the really massive firepower going inside this as well. And the competition between JyanMaara, Ruthless Aggressive Warriors, and even High Voltage is going to be just seamless to watch, because I am really interested to see which team would be coming out on top and contest that third position. Of course, PN Crew does have a little bit of lead going in here as well, but if unfortunate enough, if PN Crew does get eliminated in those early game stages, then that can be a little bit of problem. But overall, I really feel like Team Cops also stand a little bit of chance inside this. And we all know what Vibes is capable of. They can literally just turn the tables anytime soon. And overall, yeah, there are just so many teams over here. KWIN also, Trusty Process also in the race for a little bit. But yeah, overall, if you take a look at teams like Ekta Esports, Elementrix, DreamHackers Esports, Harame Hype, and H2o, things are certainly going to be so much more tough for these guys.
I mean, take a look at Team Hype. Look at their position points. That's pretty much miserable, to be honest. 20 points is not acceptable for the squad of the likes of Team Hype. I mean, they have been completely off with their rotations and everything. So, I mean, right now, today, all they can do is try to, go bow out with their heads held high. Today is a day where they can really go aggressive and try to make it to those final circles, because if you take a look at the overall leaderboards that we had in terms of those kills, they're not lacking. I think it's just those position points that has pushed them all the way down to the bottom of the table. And same goes with Team Harame as well. They
Yeah.
started off really well, but they could not perform up unto the standards that they had built for ourselves.
Indeed, now certainly taking a look at the head-to-head over here, it's between Gurkha High Voltage and Ruthless Aggressive Warriors, of course, RAW. But certainly somewhere down the line, we all know Gurkha High Voltage is just doing so good. And just overall performance these guys are showing is just absolutely relentless.
I mean, yeah, but likewise, if you take a look at GRHV and Raw. So in terms of points, we do see the boys from GRHV doing so pretty well. But in terms of the chicken dinners, they've both got two, and in terms of kills, it's GRHV. This is a team that really picked themselves up from the third day, and they've been so consistent. They've been so
Yeah.
consistent in terms of their positioning. And Assassin has definitely been one of those players that we have to watch out for, even
Mhm.
in the Pro League if this team does qualify. And it all kind of pans down to just this one team's performance, right?
Hmm.
As to how they're going to perform in these games that they have to play. If they perform really well, I don't think any other team can make it to the third spot. If they kind of start
Uh-huh.
messing up, then maybe there's a slight possibility, because that's what we
Hmm.
saw in the Bangladeshi region as well.
I mean, indeed. I mean, what Gurkha High Voltage really relies on is definitely going to be those placement points coming in for them. And mostly, yeah, of course, those kills do rack up in those late game circle, but certainly that is not going to be the main, focus over here going inside the game today. Because certainly today, if you're going to get eliminated even by mistake in those early game phases, then that is probably going to be costing you so
Yeah.
much down the line as well. And certainly, a team like Gurkha cannot make any mistakes over there in those late game scenarios. So, of course, if they actually do make any mistakes, high voltage if manage to do any mistakes, then of course JyanMaara and Raw are just going to be stealing their spot instantly.
Yeah, of course. I mean, anyone can do that. Even if Vibes really come out on top with
Yeah,
one or two
yeah,
chicken and make sure they take down all those squads that are above them, then it
yeah.
is also a slight possibility that they might make it through. But I mean, the chances are very slim, but not really impossible. As we take a look at the schedule over here, it's again Erangel, Sanhok, Miramar, and Erangel. So four maps, and as we can head on. So Sanhok and Miramar will, of course, be played for the last final time. We, of course, have Erangel to close things out. So heading on to the first game that we have in Erangel, of course, and I've been putting you in the spot over there, but this time my question will be different. Um, do you think someone can get the chicken dinner, the ones who are from say, let's say, third to eight over here? That's a rather easy question.
I
Do you
mean,
think someone from them, or do you think it's going to be someone from the top?
To be honest, I don't really feel like Carnage would try to go like really, sincere play this time. Of course, I really feel like Carnage would maybe just trying out new strategies because they have secured themselves. And at the same time, even if you're trying out new strategies, you are still going to be racking up points in the process as well. But certainly, I really feel like Carnage might be coming out on top. Certainly, sometimes as well, just because the overall standings they are showing and just the overall performance they're showing. But another team, if you're asking me from those top three positions to like the bottom eight, then I really feel like it might be PN Crew's game.
I mean, certainly can be. I mean, PN Crew has been really, really good in terms of how they've been approaching the circles, how they've been taking the fights, coming out of nowhere. I mean, after the second day, perhaps, they just went bonkers. They just went mad, going after kills, getting everything done, and all without the help of AppSec. To be honest, over there, all without his help. So, I mean, if he would have been there, I think they could have given a run for the money for the boys from Team Carnage. But apart from that, I think Team P and Crew have been looking pretty solid.
And did I mean they are just looking pretty solid, and especially a player like Ayush is just putting so much work on the table as well. And now another team that we can't really ignore is certainly going to be Giant Mara. So I mean,
Yeah.
yesterday was really unfortunate day for them, but it happens. Everyone has those one of the days which is really do get unfortunate sometimes, and like not every game can be yours. So I mean, certainly having a player like Gunner in your backpack, and certainly having a player like Sonim in your backpack, it's just going to be so relentless.
Yeah, it is. It is, of course, going to be helping you a lot. But right now, I mean, if we talk about the first game, the circle has always been a very crucial factor. Today, we did get to see some interesting circles in both our games that we casted in Erangel. So, um, moving on to the Nepali region, which circle would you prefer to see?
I mean, if you ask me what kind of circle I really want to see, of course, I want to see the most like middle circle, which will be the school circle. As I even said it before, of course, that is going to be giving equal chances for each and every single team to like go and fight inside, of course. And even I want each and every single team to actually get that fair advantage going in. If the circle is going to be panning out towards military, it's more kind of going to be which team had the most like had the military island controlled.
Yeah, I mean, of course, in the first game of the Bangladeshi region, we did see the circle panning around towards the southern side of Pachinki. So, I mean, a circle like that, I would absolutely love. Even a school circle is very much welcome. But with that being said, the flight path trajectory heading all the way from Stalbert towards the Snovka military base, as all these teams take their plunge. And we gotta see, because this is the final day, so a lot of teams might tend to target each other out. We have seen the likes of H2O going after team of Vibes yesterday in the last final game, so Vibes need to be prepared for that.
Indeed, vibes need to be certainly prepared for that. But now, of course, one thing I really want to point out here is that Elementrix and Cops do just always go to their, preferable spots, which is going to be Elementrix, of course, going to the military base side, and then Cops just always going to the Noah Ripnoy. That's just so classic coming in from there. And no shift as well. But take a look at the circle. Seems like it is going to be on the middle side, but also is covering most of the military base island as well. But the next circle is going to be the main deciding factor. If the next circle is going to be shifting towards military base, then that might be massive, massive trouble for all these teams.
Yeah, of course. And if you take a look at how these players have dropped off, we do see the players of Team Hype heading towards Katka, and Elementrix really executing their good old melee base and fairy peer rotation. We do see again the boys from Team H2O and Vibes locking heads with each other. So, I mean, one of their players kind of a bit separated from the squad. He's got to be really, careful with his approach. Now, TDP, yesterday we did see some good performances, but majority of the times they were sort of picked off, not really having the kind of an outing that they would have wanted. There was also a certain time when the players of DreamHackers could have, really dominated, but they all fizzled out.
Certainly, it did happen there. But now, taking a look at Raw's position, how are they going to be positioning themselves is going to be one of the most important factors as well if they actually want to compete for the top 3 spots, and which they will want to. But it seems like this time they are actually going to be making the rotations first and then prioritize lose, which also makes sense sometimes. Of course, like, capitalizing on those vehicles, contesting those vehicles early on, and then actually looting might be just, a little bit of sigh of relief, because then you won't have to worry about making those early rotations at the circle as well, because you already have those vehicles. Yeah, you can just take those vehicles and of course find like a better safe route, or just plan out a massive rotation, and that can be just going inside your favor as well. But now taking a look at H2o Esports stats as well, seems like they're going to be having only 56 total points and only 30 kills. Now H2o, of course, yeah, one of those teams which is really in the bottom lines, and if they actually want to contest for the top 3 positions, it certainly is going to be impossible, almost next to impossible, because even if they manage to win like 2 or 3 chicken dinners back to back, there's just no way they're going to be in the competition. But the other team in the hand, of course, which is going to be High Voltage over there, and certainly these guys are going to be having the pressure building up because they are in the 3rd position. And if they actually make any kind of rookie mistakes in the start, they might just get punished and their position might get stolen.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time where you need to avoid making those small mistakes that you would not make in on other days, right? So we've got the players over here, Team Elementrix. I mean, I do not know, man. I mean, they did not really see confident. This new roster has not kind of synergized well. Maybe next time, maybe in some other tournaments. We've got a lot of tournaments, in fact, lined up for the Nepali region. So maybe that's when we get to see our, Team Elementrix making that big comeback. But apart from them, they've been kind of shaky. They've been kind of off. But as we move along
Mhm.
further, our team Ruthless Aggressive Warriors, definitely one of the teams that has really impressed us, getting the first chicken dinner of the regional finals. But they also had a fall, right? They're still,
Mhm.
taking it up. They've
Mhm.
got some amazing IGLing coming out from Sada, and
Mhm.
I think if they manage to get a chicken dinner in this one, maybe they can again be there in the race for the top third.
Indeed, they will be. But no, I mean, overall, PM Crew, of course, securing that 2nd spot for themselves. But certainly on the total points, also, they are a little bit high up. But the thing over here is that you still have to play 4 games. And in 4 games, anything can happen. Even PM Crew might lose their lead on the 2nd spot as well. And maybe GRHU or any of the team that are running up, they might get caught up. So also PN Crew will be also having those sweaty palms going inside this as well, because they will have to kind of confirm their slot on the 2nd position, as if they also make any kind of rookie mistakes in the start, they will get certainly punished. And DreamHacker Esports, of course, one of the teams that we know were playing just absolutely decimating in those group stages as well. But certainly this time, they weren't really able to show up that much, because they were just getting capitalized early on. And certainly the aggression early on from DreamHackers wasn't really working out and panning out in their favor. So, yeah, of course, this time DreamHackers aren't really able to show that much, but certainly they haven't lost their chances, but they will just have to, just decimate each and every single game.
Yeah, of course. I mean, DreamHackers. Uh, I mean, right after Kurkure came in, I think. That's for a different one.
That's,
I think,
yeah,
yeah, PWP.
that's
Sorry,
PWP.
my apologies there. I mean, right after, even if you talk about PWP, right after Kurkure came into the squad, I think that's when they really went up in those points table, right? And that is what they were kind of missing out for.
Hmm.
And we've got to see as to how other players of this squad kind of perform, because this is a squad that did come in as an invited team and did impress us in those few days, but a few performance off and on, they've kind of stepped out, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
nothing really much going on over here right now, not
Hmm.
really any kind of fight happening. It's kind of a
Yeah.
stalemate situation going on, just teams just rotating around trying to execute it. Pretty much the reminiscence of the first circle that we got to see of the map of Erangel today in the Bangladeshi region. So we're kind of anticipating a similar circle as such. So we got to see
Yeah.
as to how or which team, in fact, takes the best spot and moves on.
Indeed, just take a look at the fight that is occurring between H2o and Vibes. And yep, certainly Mr. Toby is going to be falling all alone. But Summer is there in the backline somewhere. He is trying his best to survive Vibes out. But for how long is the question over here. Summer taking so much damage in the process as well. And finally, yep, Summer is going to get capitalized on. And that's going to be Team Vibes coming up on top in the entire situation that was over there. And H2o certainly somewhere down the line also showing that what are the disadvantages of if you're going to be, separating up from your squad as well, because they were just two. And of course, 2 against 4 is going to be a massive disadvantage going inside the fight as well.
Yeah, of course, and Team Five sort of trying to get the revenge for what
Yeah.
H2o really did yesterday against them. And I mean, you would have remembered Malik, right? The moment he
Yeah.
just went in and he was taken down. So yeah, I mean, a pretty good, decent start for the boys of Team Fives. Having secured those 2 kills, having been successfully able to fend off the attack. But there you can
Hmm.
see Harame also taking a lead from the Pachinki areas, in fact, trying to take over the hills. I mean, that's a pretty good spot. Now, the first
Indeed.
circle, I mean, we'll be getting our next circle pretty soon over here.
Hmm.
And we'll have a rather more, clearer picture as to where
Hmm.
the zone might pan out.
Yeah, certainly. And one interesting decision coming in from Team Cops over here. Seems like they are just going to be contesting that bridge area. They are just going to be camping right there. And of course, they also have a little bit of, hopes going in if the circle might pan out in those military-based circle as well. And of course, it's not going to be there. The circle is more kind of going to be shifting towards school side and even in those just middle phases over there. And certainly one thing is going to be interesting to see because Vibes is just contesting all over H2O there, or even Vibes are trying to make the rotation early in the time, and also at the same time taking a lot of bullets onto their vehicles as well. And from the backlines, of course, it's going to be Team Cop following it up. But now one thing is going to be interesting to see. Of course, H2O are just down to 2 people. At the same time, they are just pressuring other teams so much with their bullets as well and with their guns as well. And for how long are they going to be able to do that though? Because they're just down to 2 people, and if some teams actually get mad at them and they just like completely just ram their vehicle on their compound, then they might be in a massive trouble.
Yeah, they will be. But right now, this is the first airdrop that has come in, the big green cannon, the AWM. But I believe, none of the teams are going to actually contest for that. Talking about TDP, I mean, Shagar, one of those players, those big names, haven't really seen much out of him. It was
Yeah.
Gangsta who really performed well, even IR2 and Yaku on
Hmm.
certain occasions. But if you talk about consistency, I think I really liked how Gangsta was playing. in this one.
Hmm.
And we've been talking a lot about these roster changes, and this has to do majorly with that. Teams tending to change their rosters after every single tournament, and instead of trying to fix things, rather breaking teams has not really been the right answer. And a lot of
Certainly.
teams, a lot of teams, I must say, every single team has sort of made those changes here and there, and are kind of dealing with the aftermath of it, because you need to
Hmm.
also build up your synergy. And well, not really having a good time over here, Team TDP.
And TDP is also struggling quite on their knees as well, but certainly they can also try and contest for there. I mean, they are on the 11th position, of course. They're looking really bad down the leaderboards, but certainly, I mean, they do have a chance to. I mean, right now, it's more kind of like you need to play for your repetition, right? The teams that are below the top 8 spot, you kind of need to play for a repetition. You need to keep up your name in those top charts as well, so the people can actually remember you. But now, overall, it does seem like TDP is well aware that Team Wives does have the entire vicinity right in front of them covered as well. So certainly, when they're going to be making the rotation, they will make sure that they are going to be staying far away from that compound as well. But now, overall position coming in from the team GRHV is pretty unique over here, because Havoc is in the backlines, of course, and the entire team of GRHV seems like they are going to be contesting the apartment area and just going to be taking the high ground so they can actually pressurize other people taking the rotations inside the circle.
Yeah, I mean, GRHV having that higher ground, of course, that has a lot to do with the rotation. They're still trying to maintain as much information they can get from the upper hill. So yeah, they've got those covers. They're pretty much looking solid. But taking a look at Team Carnage, so they've secured the the school areas and the nearby compounds to it, and so this is a really promising spot to play around. Provided the circle really favors you. The second circle
Hmm.
has started to close in, and Team
Yeah.
Cops again, they are just hovering around those barn houses, and it is pretty much a complete different story from what we did witness from the Bangladeshi region. I mean, the first game of Erangel was absolutely mental with the way teams were, taking
Hmm.
fights right from the very start. But there you can see Shinx taking a dig at Gangsta from TDP, but nothing much is going to happen because they
Hmm.
will easily get the revives. It's just them damaging or trying to reduce their helmets, their Kevlars, and trying to use out their meds.
Indeed, but seems like Vibes are going to be changing their positions a little bit going into this. And of course, repositioning is a main factor inside PUBG. And of course, if you're really good at positioning yourself, then you might be getting that massive edge inside fights as well. But as we take a look at the kill feed, it seems like Legend is going to be stepping it up onto Assassin. And the finish onto Assassin also is going to be coming through. Of course, it's going to be PN Crew this time stepping it up onto GRHV. And GRHV is certainly not really having time of their life this time, as we all know how crucial GRHV has to maintain their the third position. It is really important for them, and if they make any kind of rookie mistakes, they might just get contested on. But overall, taking a look at the fight that might be occurring in front of us is between RAW and Carnage. Of course, he does know that there is someone right behind that tree as well. The nades are going through, not going to be dealing that much damage, but certainly Snipe is just absolutely brilliant, edge peeking that complete angle over there, and certainly not exposing your body too much in the process as well. Just a beautiful beauty coming in from this man as well. But now overall, also jiggle peeking the corners and also bobbing and weaving those angles as well. He has managed to secure himself those knocks as well. But the rest of the team, Raw, seems like they are not in the close vicinity. They are a little bit separated here.
Yeah, of course. But right now, Team Carnage, I mean, that's the way they approach, that's the way they play. As Jiggle somehow has lost his life. We could not
Yeah.
really see it, it was just missed out. But Manish, with that beautiful grenade being lobbed at Frag Point, who sort of retreated from that position. Team Raw certainly cannot afford to lose this fight, at least at this moment, because they
Oh.
already are under such heavy pressure. And from the backlines, we already do see the players of Team Elementrix coming in really close.
Indeed, but Elementrix they still do have a long journey to take in. But for now, Manish is just going to be decimating the team players from Raw over there, and certainly not really having the time of their life. Frag Boy and Shawl is going to be the last man standing over there, and just beautiful spray coming from Manish. Not going to be missing any of those crucial shots, of course, but Carnage taking a heavy amount of damage in the process as well. The smokes are going to be coming through just to get the res in and buy a little bit of time until he is going to be able to get the res in as well. But certainly Carnage absolutely decimating the entire squad over there of Raw. And we all know Raw does have that firepower going inside. They almost took down the entire squad of Carnage as well.
I mean, yes, almost, but somehow still, the players of Carnage have managed to retain the control over those potato hills. Now they're making their move.
Certainly they will be, but as we were talking about over here, JMX, another squad that we all have our eyes on. And then certainly just take a look at the rotation Extreme is making right into the open ground. Of course, Kurkure is going to be right in front of him. But is Kurkure going to be taking the shots? Though, of course, he does. Then his position will be given away easily. And then the other teammates will be capitalizing onto it. And then we'll be taking him down. But now, for now, taking a look at the kill feed, it's going to be Killer YT this time, stepping it up. And of course, the knock onto Kurkure is going to be happening anytime soon. And as we keep on taking, of course, JMX is going to be capitalizing the entire Rich for themselves this time. And in the process as well, Harame are also in a massive amount of trouble as Milgan has been caught off guard and barely going to make it. No, he gets completely taken down from Reaper OP. Certainly not going to be missing his spray. Reaper is just an absolute Reaper.
Yes, he is the Grim Reaper of Death, as we can call him, as PWP. Of course, having lost out on Kurkure, they're trying to do a pretty decent job over here to maintain to keep all the other players online. Ekta's Augie, in the meanwhile, taking down Milken. Instead, he gets knocked from Hanuel from afar, and now the players of PWP are providing that very, very dirty cover fire from behind, sort of helping the team right in front of them without even intentionally doing so. So as long as your body is visible, you're going to be punished. That's pretty much the mantra. And looking at Bibek, he's got caught off guard in that really precarious position of just being in the shack. How does he get out from here? How does he get inside the circle? A lot of questions, but time is definitely gonna answer them all.
Indeed, and we all know in those late game situations, it doesn't matter if it's a third party, all the kills will be contested if you're going to be exposing your body by mistakes or just going to be making those small mistakes as well. But now taking a look at the kill feed again, it's going to be Extreme taking down Hanuel, and then also Extreme is just going to get traded out instantly from P and Ayush this time. Ayush does seem like he is going to be putting in work, and we all know that man is just an absolute beast when it comes to those long sprays as well. But for now, over here, JMX does seem like they are crumbling down slowly, and Killer YT is just an absolute beast as he is just taking down players from by one. And now over here, Mr. Hyozu also taking down Gurkha over there from Team Hype. But now taken by analyzing the entire position that is happening over here, seems like there might be a fight occurring between Harame and Ekta anytime soon, because as Delta is trying his best to grab any kind of excess information there, and certainly he's going to be spotting Chetney there from Ekta, but isn't really going to be managing to deal enough damage onto them, so he is going to be a little safe behind that ridge as well. The nades are going to be coming through, but are those nades going to be hitting? That's going to be a massive question. And of course, a beautiful nade coming from Delta to close things out on that man. But right there over here, but Evixira seems like he is just going to be using those smokes and utilities, trying his best to provide that little bit of cover for his teammates, certainly making sure they might not get finished over here. But Psycho does have his nades going in as well in the position. And
Wow.
of course, what a beautiful nade, going to be taking both of them down.
Absolutely, and this is Team Ekta who are on a prowl. Of course, losing out on Augie, they will get Shanti back up in no time. But this is Team TDP, still in pursuit of the first kill. Have spotted a lot of squads, taking a lot of shots at them, but not really getting the success as they've already lost out on Shagar early on, and IR2 has been given that revive. But before he goes in for the patching, he needs to make sure that he's got enough smokes surrounding him, as Extreme does get his hands onto his Hungry Box as Malik also falls down, courtesy to Sonim.
Indeed, Sonam is just an absolute beast as well, and we all know what he is capable of doing as well. But taking a look at GRHV as well, but now I'm going to be holding on to my words for a second because a massive elimination is coming through. It's going to be Team Vibes getting eliminated off early this time, and a massive turn of events over here. We certainly did not expect Team Vibes to just go and take an exit that early on, but now taking a look at the kill feed again, it's going to be Sandesh, a beautiful frag grenade coming in from that man to close things out on the Rag. But now another one coming in. It's going to be Sus on to PN Ayush there. Now PN Ayush is certainly one of the men that PN cannot, afford to lose. If they do, then that might be a massive world of trouble. Of course, the smoke grenades are coming in through the smokes will be deployed and the cover will be made just to get those res onto as well. But certainly over here, it seems like Ekta is in a massive world of trouble as they are also getting contested from the back lines and even from the front lines. They do have that little bit of dip going in for themselves, but certainly will get compromised. But now taking a look at Team Elementrix position as well. Liquid going down in the process as well, but so many fights happening at the same time and so many knockouts happening at the same time. It's just hard. It's just hard for me to keep up with those. And now there's another fight coming in between. It's going to be between Rana and Carnage. Rana managing to knock out one of the members there, but Manish is definitely going to be capitalizing onto him and going to be taking him down. But now taking a look at Masky G over there in the backline, trying his best to find those angles as well.
Yeah, of course, as this is completely hell-breaking loose, as we can see the boys from JyanMaara. I mean, they've got a very good spot over here. They've got those tips to work things around. But if someone takes the higher ground, they might be in a world of trouble. All they have to do is to shift to the other side of the vehicles, and they're good to go. So the formation could have really been better, but considering on the circumstances that they were in, you can look at them clearly on the minimap. They're being surrounded, slowly but surely. Teams will start trying to hunting them down. But Reaper will, of course, get a few knocks here and there, as Gole from PWP is the last member surviving. As we can see, Aya too making that rotation inside the circle and barely managing to stay alive as he's being brutally attacked. And it's this also the zone that does majority of the damage. The kills will be, of course, picked up over here. But Mr. Yoshi, an engagement against players of TMP and crew already, 2 players down. How are they going to make a comeback in this one?
Indeed, it's going to be interesting to see. He has already losing 2 of their main players down as well. Mr. Hughes getting spot from the backlines. Of course, he's going to get knocked down instantly for exposing his body way too much. Now, Elementrix are in a world of trouble as Broman is going to be the last man standing for their teammates as well. But now, PN crew also trying their best to get their men up. And at the same time, Sandesh is just going to be in the backlines, trying his best to, drive towards his teammate, close out the distance between him and them. And now, Goalie going to be finding a beautiful knockout with a frag grenade onto players of JMX. And just take a look what is happening over here. There's so many frag grenade skills coming in, and of course JMX are in a massive world of trouble as they have been eliminated on the 10th position.
This is something that they could not really afford to do that at this particular spot. Even GRHV, they're not looking good either. I mean, they're completely looking shaky over here. Just that one player surviving, no kills to their name. And Team Elementrix, they've started taking the charge, getting kills left, right, and center. And now they've secured those 2 kills. They are moving inside the circle, but can they actually make it over there? As Broman's vehicle is almost burning as he swams right on the face of Kuni. And Kuni's the last player surviving. He's got a lot of pressure onto it himself as he's tries to spray down with his barrel, but instead gets taken down, and Kuni will make no mistakes in trying to get that kill confirmed.
Indeed, beautiful flick coming in from that man, just completely decimated him. But now certainly taking a look at the situation that is happening, H2o seems like they are in a massive world of trouble as they're down to only Freak, and the aggression is coming in through from Sus, but it's going to get capitalized from the backlines. Of course, you're going to be if you're going to be exposing your body that much, you will get capitalized from the backlines as well. But certainly Sandisar is going to be the one to actually put things to end, and that's going to be the elimination of Ekta coming in as well. But H2o has also been eliminated from the late game phases. But now it's all down to these 5 teams and 11 men alive. It's going to be between Team Cops, Elementrix, PWP, DreamHackers, and even GRxHIGHVOLTAGE. And this is what I was talking about, GRxHIGHVOLTAGE. But as I'm talking, they have been eliminated outside the game as well. But now certainly DreamHackers is going to be the one of the teams that I really have my eyes on. And as well, Elementrix and Team Cops. If Elementrix actually manage to win this chicken dinner, this is going to be epic.
Yes, of course. And so the players of Team Comps, like you mentioned, they're also in a good contention for that. But there you see the big green cannon coming into play over here as a beautiful knock comes onto its Liquid as his head gets smashed off. and well, he will pretty much get the res on from his teammates. We can see the players of Team Cops, trying to apply that extra bit of pressure. And Inception, he's trying to just fend any kind of an unwanted push on towards him.
Indeed, that will be happening. But now, for now, the smoke is definitely going to be buying them a little bit of time, a little bit of cover going inside this as well. But Cops is going to be the one of the team that is looking the strongest inside the late game circle, and just the overall positioning they have gone for themselves. I really feel like they might be the one to actually take this inside, but certainly they will have to move inside the circle as well, and the rotation might be coming in through anytime soon. And when they are going to be trying to make the rotation, that is when Cops might get completely contested on from the entire squad of Elementrix as well. And another knock coming in from that arm, and what is Elementrix doing? They are just giving those easy heads to Cops as well, but here comes the rotation as well. That knockout is certainly going to be buying them a little bit of time and going to be spotting goalie and Haniel inside that little dip over there. But how are things going to be panning out in their favor as well? And as we keep on talking, there are just so many fights happening over here. PWP capitalizing on the entire squad of Cops, and certainly is the last man standing over here. Goalie, how long are you going to be able to defend your squad over there? Certainly taking down Killer YT in the process as well, but this might be Elementrix game if they actually decide to completely third party this fight. Goalie going to be healing himself inside such a crucial situation. As we take a look at Liquid also making those a little bit of flank angles in, but certainly Liquid is going to get capitalized. Inception also getting down in the process as well, and it's going to be Yozu putting the end to things, and certainly that's going to be Elementrix taking the chicken dinner. Hashtag X Nation all over the place.
Oh my goodness, 8 kills coming out to the boys from Team Elementrix, and finally, they have made a statement over here. And it's the first chicken dinner that they managed to secure for themselves, and of course the match of Erangel. The last one we did see was in Miramar. It's of course the second, but where does that put them in the overall standings? That's the bigger question. And considering how they've played, yeah, this is a good start. But at the same time, all the other teams could have definitely performed better than the ones who were in the race for the third spot. As we get the MVP over here, it has got to be Hanuel.
Indeed, of course, Haniel was just putting in so much work from PWP. They were trying their best to, survive in those end-game phases as well, but then goalie went down, and then in the end, it was just all down Haniel as well. But certainly, Haniel with those massive 5 kills coming in as well, and the damage of 873 and 4 assists, and only 90 healing done. Haniel have proved himself that he is worthy of that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, PWP, like we've mentioned, they've finally made a comeback in. They're finally looking very promising. And, this match might not have made a huge ripples in those top 3 standings, but I'm sure a little down below, it's going to be changing things a lot. As we take a look at the top players, we've got Hanuel, Dole, Killer, and Mr. Hyozu. Finally, the IGL of Team Elementrix stepping it up.
Yeah.
700 damage, 4 kills, much needed respite considering the pressure they were in, both inside and outside the game.
Indeed, of course, just the overall performance these guys have been showing, and Yozo, of course, the last man to close things out for Team Cops there. But certainly, I really want to give it to Killer YT over there. In those kill feeds, I was always seeing his name. He was just downing so many people back to back, and certainly managed to secure those 3 kills and 882 damage. That speaks for itself.
Yeah, of course. But at the same time, I was really looking out for, Rat over there. The way he was, dishing out his AWM shots. That was so beautiful just to watch it. But now moving forward, we've got the match summary right in front of us. Gole with the highest kills, of course. Killer with the highest damage, and it's pretty much standard. Nothing really out of this world. But Hanuel, of course, with those 4 kills. 4 assists. He's doing pretty nice. But there you go, the match rankings coming out. Elementrix right on top, but PWP surely making the comeback in this one.
Indeed, they did make the comeback over there with 21 points, but certainly Elementrix haven't really managed to secure as much points as I expected them to. At least if they actually managed to secure 30 points, then, that could be a big deal over there. But certainly they did manage to secure that top 8 position for themselves. But the next upcoming games are going to be a massive deciding factor for Elementrix there. If they actually manage to secure 2 more chicken dinners in those upcoming games, or even 2 more, the top 2nd position with a lot of kills might just do it as well. But certainly it is going to be so much more hard as the pressure might be building up on them as well. But overall, taking a look at over here, P and Crew certainly going down in those early phases as well, which we definitely did not expect that happening. And of course, that is going to be panning things out a little bit against them. But certainly, that's not that lethal.
I mean, yeah, but right now, apart from the players from Carnage, I do not know about the others. I mean, how well they have cemented their position. I mean, is it going to be enough? Because the kind of a lead that the boys from Carnage have built is pretty promising. So they can afford to, play a bit loose in those initial few matches as long as they're catching up. As we take a look at the Oppo moments that we have in front of our screens, quite some interesting fights. Carnage being kind of caught off guard. They did manage to get those 2 kills here and there, but that was just about it. And pretty soon they were taken away, and they could not really do much.
Yeah. Indeed, this spray over here was just an absolute beauty. It didn't even miss any kind of bullets onto him. Certainly the spray might be missing the bullets, but just the overall control was just an absolute beauty. But this aggression was kind of questionable, and of course this was the end fight that was happening. And as I was talking, of course, Gole went down in the process. I mean, H2o went down in the process, and Gole was the last man standing. But then Mr. Hyozu from the backlines did take down Rana Blaster completely, and then this is where things closed out into their favor as well. But now overall, taking a look at the damage graph as well, of course it's going to be PWP this time stepping it up.
Yes, I mean, considering how many kills they were getting, every single player, I mean, of course, Gole and H2o being the ones who were really firing on all cylinders. But as the storyline speaks, it's Team Cops and Team Elementrix who did get the first 2 position over there. So now I really want to take a look at the overall rankings that we have got for ourselves, because that is pretty much going to be explanatory as to how these teams will be playing the further games to come. And PN Crew and GRHV still in that decent amount of lead that they have built for themselves. Team Cops not really far behind from GRHV, but one good chicken dinner might just make sure that the cap is reduced down. So not a lot of games to work around with, because we've already done with the penultimate match of Erangel. We will be heading to the last map of Sanhok so far. So let's see how these teams perform.
Indeed, of course. I mean, the Team Cops is always the team that is, kind of takes the slow start in the start, and then later on they just step their gameplay up by just massive percentages. And this is what I actually like to see, getting that slow start in an entire competition, making the team thinks that, you're maybe just like any of the teams, and then later on just striking at them out of nowhere and just doing just absolutely delivering and a cracking performance. It's just an absolute beauty to witness.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this was a sort of a slow start, but eventually it turned out really big. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading for a short little break, because coming right after is that beautiful map of Sanhok. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to day number five, the last final day of the regional finals of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Nepal region. And of course, the first game was quite different, as Elementrix did manage to back out the chicken in this one. And as we move along further to the map of Sanhok, this is a map which comes with a lot of surprises. Yesterday, we did see the players of GRHV, getting that easy chicken dinner just by staying on the TBD top, the circle panning out to the western side. They just capitalized and they won. But today, moving along, I mean, to be honest, I would not like to see a western circle anymore. Where do you want it, Necro?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I really want to see. Of course, I just want to see a center circle all the time. But one of the circle as I would always like to see is, of course, those Hatin area, and you don't really want to see that kind of circle. But I actually like those circle as well. But a circle which is going to be panning out ruins or just completely on those bottom left side would also be kind of interesting to see. Just how overall all these teams would be making those strategies going inside this. But certainly, it's going to be interesting to see, and that's going to be a deciding factor as well. But I'm really waiting for the circle over here because that's just going to be a massive deciding factor as we take a look at the teams just completely ejecting outside the plane. And seems like this time teams are just making so much way towards Pinon as well, and just overall Hatin and just overall those left-sided areas.
Of course. I mean, right now, very soon, we will be, of course, getting our circle that we are waiting for. And yes, it's going towards the northern side, but still the majority of the western side in contention. However, taking a look at things, maybe the circle might just pan down to where the players of Team JyanMaara are. And Team Hype, again, a very disappointing performance in the first game, getting nothing out of it, not even a single kill. So this game we might just kind of anticipate them to be really aggressive, try to take a lot of fights. In the meanwhile, taking a look at Team Raw, they've dropped off at Painan.
Indeed, they did, but I mean, yeah, it is kind of an interesting choice this time as well. But the one thing we have been seeing all the time is TDP always going for that Paradise Resort, just the overall early aggression process coming in from them as well. But now, one thing that I really want to see is where the early game fights might be happening, because of course we all want to see that happening. And over here, exactly. So over here, Mr. Toby seems like he is in the vicinity of GRHV, and certainly we do know what GRHV assassin and just overall Kuni is capable of doing it as well. But certainly, okay, my bad, not assassin, I mean Freak, sorry, and Freak is overall capable of doing. But yeah, sometimes Freak has been getting caught off guard. Just overall the awareness of Freak is just not on point sometimes. But if Freak does get the positioning advantage going inside the game as well, then he might just put a lot much more on the table.
I mean, he certainly can. But
Yeah.
right now, if we take a look over here at this particular fight, we've got the players of GRHV in a very weird situation, as Mr. Toby, he's going to strike from behind like a snake. And a start that GRHV never
Mhm.
really wanted, considering how their game of Erangel really went. I mean, they still have that cushion, they had the cushion in the map of Erangel that they did survive, they're still on the third
Mhm.
spot. So, but now, if they even mess up Sanhok and some other team comes up, then it's going to be really difficult to defend it off in Miramar.
Indeed, it's going to be difficult, but finally, Toby is going to get capitalized, and will be in really massive amount of trouble as we take a look at Summer over here. He has came in for the backup, but is he going to be able to get the revenge in, though? Because certainly Mr. Toby, it seemed like he will be led off to death as well, and the entire H2o squad is just crumbling down to their knees one by one as Gurkha High Voltage is just picking them off. And certainly the Mystics are coming in from H2o as well, because they are just peeking them one by one. I really feel like over here the aggression should be coming in at the same time from the entire squad of H2o.
Yeah. Right now, GRHV, in fact, Aussie from the far off prey, did manage to take that kill. But the fight is still not done yet. We've got to see as to how H2O really approach this one, because they do not have anything to lose. They're kind of the untamed beasts that we are talking about.
Yeah.
And the kind of a position that they have built for themselves is, to be honest, really good. So
Ooh.
right now, Team Harame's Delta, whoa, taking that Molotov damage and finally being knocked out by the
Ooh.
boys from TDP, who actually look really, really angry with the way they are approaching. But in
Indeed,
the meanwhile,
TDP. Yep, yep,
yeah,
yep,
yeah,
yep, yep. Yeah, I know, no. Indeed, TDP does seem like they are just doing really good in the overall process as well. But now Harami seem like they are just going to be backing off. Of course, the absolute destruction coming in from TDP might be just, so much more shaking for them because they certainly do not want to get eliminated off early because they want to play for those repetition points as well inside going into the game. But certainly TDP does also want those repetition points, and even they do have a chance to actually compete in those top 3 situations.
yeah, they do. But right now, I mean, the way they've been playing, they need some good high fragging games. High fragging chickens is their answer, to be honest, if they have to get back to the top C spot. But in the meanwhile, I mean, GRHV, not the kind of a start that they would have really asked for themselves. Because to be honest, getting stuck over here is taking a lot of time. And they also have to move in. Look at the loot on these lads. They barely have anything to work out with.
Yeah.
They've got to play the entire game. So that's not really
Mhm.
a favorable start for this team.
Yeah, indeed. As long as they manage to completely wipe out the existence of H2o and then contest their loot, then maybe they have a little bit of chance going up inside the game as well. But certainly they will still have to loot because H2o also seem like they're not really going to be packing that much of a loot because they've already managed to take 2 of their members down. And then it's only those last 2 left as well. And certainly seems like those last 2 members are not going to be challenged to fight that easily. So certainly the things might be panning out in GRHV's position as seems like the H2o lads are just going to be holding the compound right in front of them, and they also do not want to back out. So it's like they are keeping GRHV locked inside their compound.
Yeah, they are actually, kind of completely surrounding them. And for GRHV to have any chance to really come out of this situation, they will have to either take down Summer or maybe Aussie has to join the battle because that's the only way they get out. Or else, Aussie is just that lone man survivor. So
Yeah.
it's gonna come down to the fight at any particular moment. But right now, H2O, they are being such a troublesome, thorn in in the hearts of GRHV. So yeah, I mean, well, H2O, they've been doing that since yesterday. They've been doing that a lot. Any
Yeah.
single squad they spot, they're going after them, and does not really matter as if they're losing out on their numbers, but as they're getting those kills. So yeah,
Indeed, but now one of the GRHQ member is in the backlines over there on the hilltop, but he is waiting for H2O to actually make any kind of mistakes. As I'm going to hold on to my words as we keep on talking, it's going to be DreamHackers. I went crazy going down from Rana this time. Beautiful spray coming in from this lad, and he already has that QBZ and even that 6x secured for himself, so he's just going to be beating each and every single person down, but certainly not going to be able to capitalize onto DreamHacker over there, and going to be missing a lot of shots in the process. That shot is just going to be backing out inside the compound. But the knocked out member, Crazy, is still struggling to breathe on top of the hill, and seems like Sandy Sir might be making his way towards him. But only time is going to tell if Sandy would be making it towards him, because certainly that would be a really crucial state for him. But now over here, seems like Rana is in a world of trouble as he is just pinned down behind that rock. But yep, certainly the rotation is going to be coming in through from Rana, because he does realize if he's just going to get pinned out behind the rock, then it's just going to be really easy for him to get contested. So this time he is going to be the man to actually contest that flank angle this time. But certainly seems like Sus has suspected something over here, and he does know Rana might be on the flank angles anywhere soon.
yeah. I mean, the DreamHackers, well, they're still doing fairly well. They've got that high ground advantage for themselves. Team Corps might just be in a bit of a pickle because they're kind of being, pushed back, shoved back towards the
Yep.
shorelines, and not really a lot of room to play around. So DreamHackers really do have a good chance in taking this fight.
Indeed, they do have a really good chance, but for now over here, it does seem like Team Cops are in a massive world of trouble as we take a look at the situations that are occurring in front of us. Of course, Rana is stuck inside the water, and same goes with Maskey as well, but Rana is just taking so much damage inside the water as well, but there aren't really any shots getting connected from Killer YT onto them. It seemed like this time DreamHackers are going to be the one to actually back out of the situation. But overall, this time seems like Hype has found themselves an opening over there. We did see them in the kill feed going up, and it's going to be Frenzy again, going to be getting a knocked out onto Carnage member, and Probeen also going down in the process. Now, it seems like there are so many fights happening in the early stages, and this is exactly what we were talking about. The rotations early on is going to be the more crucial thing, because, of course, if the team that are inside the circle, they will be contesting each and every squad that will be trying to rotate inside, and those knocks will certainly be falling in through as well.
Yes. Right now, I mean, with the way things are going on, it's pretty much stalemate over here, everywhere across the map, even in Sanhok. And teams have really taken it up onto themselves.
Mhm.
No fights in those until the final circles. But finally, the deadlock has been broken as Assassin, we can see, has managed to take down Freak in the process.
Yeah.
But Team Carnage, again, engaging in a skirmish with the players of Team Quinn, I believe. As one of the players, Protein has been knocked down. Jiggle, of course, being confirmed. Now, Team Quinn is, of course, going to want to, capitalize on the situation, as they've got those knocks that they can work around with and make the push happen.
It certainly seems like Carnage are going to be losing onto two of their players, but the res is coming in through onto Probeen there, so that's going to be securing one more man for them. And now the situation is between 3v4 over here. Now, Quinn, of course, is going to be the one in the force over here. They do have so much force going inside this fight, as we did see Kazi just absolutely decimating the players of Carnage over there. And now Carnage are certainly struggling, but we all know what they're capable of. So it's like, even if we are worrying for them, we don't need to, because they are just, they have secured that top one spot for themselves. So right now, it's like they are just kind of playing the YOLO side. They are just trying their best to, get those kills. They are playing the aggressive route over there. And yeah, overall, they're just trying their best to, even contest those kill points going inside as well. But over there, Stereotype seems like he's going to be finding an opening on the Vibes. And certainly, now it's going to be interesting to see how Carnage is going to be panning things out in their favor as well, because we are taking a look at Quinn, and they do seem like they have locked the entire squad of Carnage in their eyesights. But how is Carnage going to be falling it out? Of course, they will be using those utilities, and which will provide them a little bit of cover just to get outside and step outside the cover for a while. But taking a look at the positioning that TDP has over here, there is going to be Elementrix in those nearby vicinities, and Elementrix do have the high ground going in. So TDP, if TDP managed to get spotted by Elementrix, they might be in a massive world of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Elementrix is coming in with high spirits, right? After that beautiful chicken, but they might want to even secure a few more. Now, TDP is kind of knowing about, is kind of acknowledging the fact that there's someone around, but not exactly that Team Elementrix is the one.
Yeah.
Finally, GRHV managing to wipe out H2o over there and have gotten those extra points, have lost out on one of their players. Now they
Mhm.
will also have to get inside the circle, and any single moment the fight might break down, as we do see Hungry Box being spotted out, taking a few shots onto its the players of Team Hype. Akash barely surviving with a sliver of HP, as we do see Stereotype just pushing in and finally managing to spot out Hungry Box, and will get the kill confirmed instantly, as the other players, in fact Malik from Team Vibes does manage to knock out Akash in the process. The smokes are on there, but Malik right out in the open. Gurkha might just punish him, but no, decides to, hold on to his triggers.
Indeed. And certainly he is going to be making the retreat call over there. And certainly seems like Vibes are looking great for now. But Gurkha doesn't really seem like he wants to have it enough. He is just going to be chasing them down. He is trying his best to spot anyone down from the Vibes member. But certainly it doesn't really seem like that's going to be easy enough, as Vibes have already retreated completely off the bats, off the charts over there, because they are kind of separated in the process as well. Shinx is all completely on the left side, and then Malik is just completely on the right side. But Vibes certainly, they are looking really stumbly and stinky in the situation.
Yeah, I mean, Team Vibes back to back, off performances for the squad. And they've been looking shaky during the regional finals, the entirety of it, as Akash again takes down Shinx over here. So we'll have to see as to how the other players, in fact, the other teams perform in this one out. JyanMaara's Sonim trying to spot away players here and there, and the circle was kind of favoring them right from the early start. So all they had to do is play their cards right, and if they manage to do that, I think that would be enough. But right now, I think Malik, he's the one man surviving for his squad. He's got a whole lot of job to do up here, a lot to prove. In fact, right beside the players of Team Harame, as we can see, the boys from Team Hype, they've kind of gotten that upper ground area.
Certainly they have, but now taking a look at GMX, of course, they are going to be making those rotations inside the circle because they do want a really better compound for themselves and just the overall spacious compound, of course, to make those early rotations inside. And also, repositioning yourself might be a really great factor going inside these fights as well. But seems like also they are going to be sending one of their players in the backlands, as we have been seeing all these players. Just one of their teams always is going on the backlands as well. But certainly seems like there is going to be opening found on the Hype over there. Akash is going down early this time, and certainly Hype is only down to 3 men now. The push is going to get made by Stereotype and also getting spotted in the process by God9. God9 going to be taking down Stereotype. Of course, he is not going to be making any kind of mistakes, and of course not going to be messing it up as well. But certainly Hype is in a massive world of trouble as they are only down to 2 men, but the res will be coming through under the hilltop. But certainly the res over here, Stereotype, is not going to be really having that great time over here. He is struggling kind of a little bit, but take a look at the position that Stereotype has held himself. Certainly he has the high ground going inside, but for how long is he going to be able to keep the info going in?
That's a big question over here. I mean, Team Hype was kind of oblivious about the fact that Team Harame was present over there. The moment they realized, they already lost out on Stereotype. But this is still a good, promising performance from these lads, already having 2 kills to their belts. And if they just make those right movements, make those right usage of utilities, I think they won't be having a tough time wiping out Harame in that particular situation.
Indeed, that would be. But for now, I mean, yeah, it does seem like Harame do have a little bit of edge going inside this fight because, yeah, indeed, they are still lacking in those player numbers somewhere down the line. But certainly, Harame has found the opening onto Hype over there, so that's going to be also putting up their confidence a little bit on the top notch. But for now, seems like Hype is going to be backing off, and which is a really good decision coming in because they don't really need to fight this early off. They can just actually hold on to their positions. But certainly Hype is also struggling down the lines in the leaderboard. So it doesn't really matter even if they get eliminated because it certainly is going to be like really, really, really difficult. Almost next to impossible for them to actually contest those top 3 spots for themselves. But now taking a look at the circle, shift is going to be a really deciding factor. And seems like this time Elementrix is going to be the one to actually take control over the Paradise. And PWP is in the nearby vicinities, but they don't really seem like they are aware of PWP though. They certainly need to be because Gole is actually in the back lines waiting for Elementrix to make any kind of small mistakes. But seems like this time it's going to be Bromine to actually spot out Sus. Going to be taking a little bit of shots onto him, but certainly going to be missing it out as well. But now taking a look at the rotations that PN crew is making inside. Of course, if they keep on moving out of that zone ridge, they might be getting and meeting up against Hype, which might be a really massive chaos coming in because there are just so many teams in the nearby vicinity. If they start fighting Vibes, of course, Harame is going to be engaging, and then one of the members of Vibes, which is going to be the last man standing for them, he might also engage.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a possibility because taking a look at how the circle has finally taken the shift. I mean, this is a game where TDP might be looking forward to getting that chicken. They've got that compound playing around. Even the players of PWP have a good chance at it. All they have to do is try to eliminate all those nearby possible threats. As we see the players of Team Hype go after PN as back and forth threads left and right and center are coming along, and we've got to see as to what really happens in that fight as Team Carnage join the fray with engaging against the players of DreamHackers over there. But Sandesh, all right, so teams are not really giving up on the op anytime soon. In the first game we did get to see that op. Now also it's the boys from PN crew using it.
It did, and we all know how decimating these lads can be sometimes. But Legend also one of the players that PN crew is missing, and they do need to get the res onto him. But Sandesh is trying his best to find an opening with that AWM. But doesn't really seem like anyone from Team Hype is going to be peeking into it because, of course, we all know how scary it is. Even when you just hear the sound of AWM go off, just boom in your ears, and you're just like, okay, I'm not going to be peeking anytime soon onto that man anymore. Especially if a man like PN crew, if a team like PN crew is having that secured for themselves, then no one would want to peek inside. But now taking a look at the entire situation, seems like Rag is going to be taking a little bit of return fire in the process as well. But Snipe YT in the kill feed, and Sandy Sir in the kill feed also showing his presence. But overall situation for KWIN and DreamHackers over there. DreamHackers do really seem like in a wavy line over there. Their straight line is missing for DreamHackers as well. But the overall KWIN situation seems like a shot is going to be going down in the process as well, and Rag is going to be spotting him down.
Yeah, and finally things have started getting really interesting and intense. Now Team Hype, they've kind of had one of their players being knocked out, but look at Killer from being outside the circle. He is doing so much, trying to deny the players of Team KWIN to kind of enter inside the circle. It's still the fourth circle. Revivals are possible if you play your cards right, if you use your bandages. Otherwise, you're basically gone. And now, Cops, they've got nothing to lose over here. It's just last player surviving. He'll try to dish out as much damage as he possibly can, and manage to take down Kazi. Would also want to go after Hadron, but not successful. But still, that one kill secured is what Team Cops really needed.
Indeed, and we all know how decimating Killer YT can be in those situations like those. Of course, Cops do not really have the circle going in for their favor as well, but certainly they don't really need it, as Killer YT from the backlines is just putting in absolute work, and also Rana from the front lines also putting in work with that micro Uzi in those close quarters. Now it's all down to Hadron, and Hadron is also going to get eliminated in the process, and it's going to be Manish to put things to end. I mean, it's going to be Killer YT to put things to end, but over there in the Manish in the kill feed, it seems like he's also going to be popping off, and JMX Gunner also going to be stepping it up. His name is also showing up in the kill feeds as well. But now, certainly taking a look at the entire situation that Team Cops have put themselves into, it's certainly going to be questionable to see how they're going to be making it inside the circle, because of course, if they are going to be exposing their body, they might just get contested from so many squads which are nearby.
Yeah, I mean, they might just get contested, but we can see so many teams. I mean, so many teams playing outside the zone. And Rana is still proning in. He's still trying to get inside just by proning in, popping the first aid that he has, and just remaining with one more JyanMaara right in front of him. And he's got to figure out some ways to tackle against JyanMaara and get coming out with the win. But there you can see Team P and crew also taking an early exit. So a lot of early disasters happening over here in Sanhok.
Indeed, certainly this time it's going to be the big teams taking those early exits, as well as we take a look at JMX just absolutely stomping on the Cops, but also Cops are taking a massive amount of damage as well in the process, but JMX are looking really healthy as they have all of their teammates alive. But now certainly Cops are just down to 2 men, so it's going to be questionable to see if they're going to be engaging in the fight. But now certainly there are so many fights happening in the nearby vicinity as we take a look at Hype also completely decimating the squad of Harame, and they are going to be the one to put the story to end for Harame as well. But over here, the heals might be coming in through from Prototype, of course, and even Gurkha. But for how long are they going to be able to withstand the damage of the zone? And over here, taking a look at GRHV Aussie, I really feel like this might be the end for Aussie there, even if he managed to secure that bike for himself, and even if he is trying his best to get inside the circle, that's going to be just an absolute disaster coming in from him. And as we keep on talking, there's just so many knockdowns happening from the zone, and it's going to be the complete squad of Raw going down. And then, of course, it's going to be IR2 to capitalize onto the last man standing over there. And now Raw are in a massive world of trouble as well, because they are just down to that one last man standing. And how long are they going to be able to hold off to the ledge? And as I am talking, of course, Gurkha High Voltage going down in the process. Now, there are so many teams that are getting caught off guard outside the rotation as well. Take a look at the relentless aggression coming in from Extreme. Going to be putting an end to Team Cops.
Wow, I mean, JyanMaara, what are they doing right now? I mean, such an immense push coming out from these lads, but look at Team Elementrix. They do not look like they want to stop in the final days. They're finally stepping it up, but it's the boys from TDP who have the maximum chances of winning this one, according to the forecast. But that's just it, that's just those numbers, because what happens inside the zone, nobody can really anticipate. Even Manish, if he, makes those right moves, can also pack the chicken, but not really happening in this case, howsoever. But has still managed to spot out Gunner, takes a few shots at him, but will miss out, as we see the players of TDP right beside JyanMaara, as Wang has already fallen down. Sonim goes down courtesy to Liquid, as Team Elementrix is bringing hell down under from up top.
Indeed, this time certainly seems like Elementrix do have their confidence up going inside the last game. But now over here, Raw Susan barely surviving also. One of the last man standing for Raw as well. And there are so many big names getting eliminated early this time. With JyanMaara, Carnage falling apart. But now this time certainly seems like TDP, Shagar also going down early of the time over here. But they are going to be trying their best to actually get the res on it possible. But seems like Susan is going to be making things a little bit way much more worse for TDP going inside this. But also in the same time, in the same process, he is also giving his position away. So the rotation and the repositioning are coming in through. And Yaku certainly does know that there is someone from Raw over there in those nearby vicinities. And just take a look at Liquid. What are you doing, man? They are running right next to each other. And certainly he is going to be spotting Liquid there. But the nades are coming in through from Inception. And they are not certainly going to be dealing that much amount of damage, but only dealing 22 damage onto Susan. Susan going to be using those first hits for himself. And a massive mistake coming in from Liquid there. He should not have pushed him like that. If he actually wanted to push, he should have actually just completely stood up and then pushed. But that nade is going to be closing things out for him. And that's going to be eliminated completely outside. And of course, it's going to be Elementrix to put an end.
Again, Team Elementrix making it to the top two. But right now, against the players of TDP, can they come out strong? Because they are outnumbered, but their determination, their grit is still there. They are here to prove their mettle. They have had a really rough and shaky start, but Roman, having spotted out Gangsta, will be spraying down with his Tommy gun as he gets that knock. Roman, he is doing so much for his team as it's all coming down to Yaku, Shagar and Ayatu, as Hyozu is the lonesome survivor for Team Elementrix. TDP, they are lobbing all those wins out, and Hyozu gets another knock one out. And well, Inception falling down, and with that, TDP securing this chicken dinner in such a beautiful manner, making sure that they have their hold on Sanhok.
I mean, one thing I really want to point it out over here, that TDP just played so good in those late game situations as well. And just to overall contesting those early on, those late game situations from each and every single squad is just an absolute beauty coming in from them. But one thing also Elementrix is doing this time is that they are just so consistent overall. The first map, Chicken Dinner, the second map, second position, with a lot of kills in the process as well.
I mean, yeah, Team Elementrix has finally woken from their sleep. And this was the kind of a performance that we would have anticipated from themselves. If at least, from day number 3, it would have been still possible. But right now, taking a look at the number of kills, it's of course Roman who has become the MVP of this game, and 100% deserving again.
Indeed, Broman was just putting in so much work, and even I was taking a look at this man. In the kill feed, his name was just showing all the time. But certainly securing that 934 damage is going to be speaking for itself, and of course those massive 5 kills coming in as well. Broman is of course one of the best players that Elementrix has to offer in the process as well. But certainly they do have, one of the things I really want to, put the point on is that I really feel like Elementrix do have one of the support players going in. I mean, one of the best support players going in.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good lineup. It's just the synergy that was lacking. I think towards the end of the tournament, they have managed to figure things out. And, Broman coming up on 5 kills, of course, the top player. But can't rule out how dominating Cops have been, not just in this game, but also in the previous one. And Aussie getting those 2 kills, but 578 damage. So now all these top teams, that are in contention for the top 3rd spot, in fact, for the 3rd spot itself, are kind of looking a bit shaky, to be honest. They're taking those early exit. Few teams are trying, of course, but TDP, this chicken dinner has put them onto the 9th spot. But with just 2 more games remaining, and this is the final map of Sanhok that was done in the PMCO, no more Sanhoks over here. But as we take a look at the match summary, we've got Bishal, who's got the longest distance skill. We also did get to see that AWM being used today.
Yeah, indeed, and I'm actually so happy to see the AWM being, put into work. We did see in Erangel, it was just absolutely decimating the squads of entire Elementrix over there, and of course, it was going to be one of the members from Team Cops using it. But certainly using that AWM in those late game phases is just an absolute decimation going in as well. If you manage to even hit a body shot, that man is just absolutely down to 1 HP.
Yes, and with that being said, Team TDP might have won the game, might have won chicken dinner, but in terms of points,
Yeah,
it's the boys from Team Elementrix. Some
yeah.
immense rise in the points table for all these lads from Team Elementrix, and I mean,
Yeah.
they certainly are here to make a statement out. But
Yeah.
look at how Team Vibes, how Team H2o, and all the other teams have taken the fall. I mean, P and Crew definitely being one of those bigger shocks out from here. PWP also, I really thought that they might play a bit better, but that was not the case.
Indeed, that was not the case. But of course, yeah, we were talking about how PN Crew and Vibe just got eliminated early off. And that was, of course, an absolute massive, turn of disadvantage going in for their favor as well. But now taking a look at the Oppo moments over here, this was, of course, one of the fights that was occurring the first time. And then Mr. Toby was, of course, making things so much more harder than it should be for the entire squad of High Voltage. And this is where actually the fate of High Voltage was written down onto the books. And this is where High Voltage just started completely crumbling down. And over here, Hype just making things so much more harder for Vibes as well, taking 2 of their members down, and just the overall situation that was going on. And of course, one of these moments that I cannot really miss out on, that Cops was just putting in so much work from the back lines over here, and he had a massive hand on onto that complete squad wipe going inside.
Yeah, that he did. And right now, I mean, JyanMaara, well, this is a team, that had a good possible chance of securing that chicken, to be honest, because they had a really good position, the way Circle really panned out. But yeah, I mean, it all just comes down to how slow fights these teams are taking, so late inside the circle, so much chaos that it kind of becomes too difficult for them to really handle. As we take a look
Yeah.
at the damage graph, we've got Elementrix having the highest damage numbers, of course, 1800 over here. Big touch, so just shying away a bit from the 2k mark. But I mean, if Team Elementrix continue performing like this, because moving on to the next map, we do have Miramar, which is of course their signature map, the map in which they thrive the most. So if they get a chicken dinner in that one as well, you never know, we might just have another team in the party.
Indeed, we might. But if PN Crew actually keep on playing the way they're playing right now, if they keep on getting eliminated in those early game phases, then the second position might not be that difficult to get contested on. And as we are talking about that, of course, High Voltage is going to be making their comeback in the leaderboards as well. 170 points, only 11 points to go. And then High Voltage will be completely taken over from PN Crew as well, if they, of course, keep on showing that disastrous start all the time. But taking a look at Team Cops as well, and Elementrix seems like they have moved themselves up on the leaderboards as well this time. 142 points, and if Elementrix actually managed to secure 2 more chicken dinners or even 2 more second position and just overall a really good performance, I mean, Elementrix might as well make it.
I mean, if they get 1 more chicken dinner, I think they might be in a good situation for the 3rd spot at least, because they've closed in the gaps, the gaps that was built on. The bridges are definitely being crossed over, and Team Elementrix are performing really well tonight. And I mean, where were they all this time? I mean, stepping up in the final day, it's good. But,
Yeah.
this is a team that should be there in the PMPL, considering the history that they bring into the PUBG Mobile scene. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be heading for a short little break, because coming right after is going to be the last final map of Miramar in the PMCO. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Nepal Region Finals of, well, this is the match number three that we are talking about. That's this match, Miramar, we are talking about. And, well, heading on to Miramar. What do you think? Can Elementrix bag one more?
Well, to be honest, we did see in the past, we did see so many decimating performance coming in from Elementrix. And of course, they do have the capability to actually back it up as well. But certainly, it's going to be interesting to see how the zone might be panning things out for all these squads. Because certainly, the zone is always the main deciding factor for all these teams to, change their strategies last second, decide and contest that compound. And this is where actual the team synergy kicks in, where Elementrix is certainly lacking somewhere down in the lines as well. But certainly, I do feel like this is where Elementrix is actually waking up and actually try and contest it on all their negative points they have.
Well, let's see. Well, because this flight path trajectory completely favors the boys of Team Elementrix, and well, GRHV still have that one match cushion, that they can play around with, and they're doing a decent job in keeping those kill points up. Even in Sanhok, when they had their backs behind the walls, they did perform really well. And as we move along further, so right now, if we can see the flight path trajectory, the southern areas are really far-fetched. Chumasera, Los Leones, Impala, these places are so difficult to make it
Hmm.
through. But we've got to see as to how or where the circle rather forms and which team takes that high ground position. So as the game progresses, we do see some teams, going off towards the ruins area. Look at, DreamHackers. Look at,
Oh.
the boys from GRHV all dropping at the edges of the map because they kind of fear that they might be targeted.
And indeed, it's like Dream Hackers are kind of a little bit, separated out over there, and GRHU are, of course, all in that same compound over there. So things might be a little bit difficult going inside over here for Dream Hackers as well, and even a little bit for Gurkha High Voltage over there. But certainly seems like Sandy Sir doesn't really want to challenge fights this easily, especially he doesn't really have that good guns going inside over there. So he is going to be backing out and even looting, which is a really good decision coming from this man. Of course, looting is going to be the main factor going inside this early inside the game, and of course he is going to be also contesting that high ground and waiting for Havoc to make any kind of rookie mistakes for him to just punish him down.
Yeah, but there you see, like you mentioned, DreamHackers and GRHV taking that early skirmish against each other. Of course, having that Tommy gun, I absolutely adore this weapon. I mean, in the right hands, it can spell disaster for the enemies, of course,
Yeah.
because you've got that hip fire accuracy going in for you. And
Hmm.
this is where, GRHV are starting to outplay. They've got Assassin, but he's in the spot where he can provide cover fire to Havoc if someone tries to get beside their building. So apart from that, I would love to see Assassin trying to close down on the distance, as we also do have Sus joining in from DreamHackers. So quite some early engagements is what we are really expecting from over here.
Indeed, and also Probeen capitalizing on the entire squad of KWIN there does know that there is someone down line over there, but certainly does not want to push. Of course, he does know if he gets caught off guard in those pushing phases, he might be in a massive world of trouble, as Kazi and Frenzy are just waiting for him to make any kind of small mistake. But at the same time, they don't really seem like they are aware, and simultaneously, as the time is going to be passing, they will probably get aware of that situation as well. But overall, it does seem like Snipe and Probeen do have the high ground advantage going in for themselves, and they might be spotting Frenzy anytime soon. But now it's just going to be the time telling how long is the fight going to be taking until the fight will be engaging as well. And it seems like this time Snipe is going to be spotting in Rag, making those long range rotations as well. And also Rag is going to be the one to actually playing the backlines for Team KWIN.
Yeah, but right now, considering how things are, Team P and crew, we're not really having the day of their lives, but they have put up quite some numbers up the board. But if they kind of keep slacking off like this, like you just mentioned, when the overall standings came out, they might lose out on the second spot that they're holding on to. So they've got to be really careful. And finally, my man Arvsek is back, and well, we've got to see as to how he performs, and not really playing in a majority of the matches coming
Mhm.
in the final day. Can go willy nilly, to be honest, because right now he's a kind of a player that has immense potential. But how is he going to deliver without really being in the thick and thin of things during the PMCO regional finals? That
Mhm.
is a question that is going on in my mind.
Certainly, and that is the question going on in everybody's mind as well. I'm pretty sure about that. But for now, it does seem like Sandy Sir is somewhere falling alone in those compounds as well. But yeah, DreamHackers do have those backlines. But unfortunately, for example, if Sandy Sir does get knocked out, the res might be not happening anytime soon because the rest of his teams are just way far off on those outskirts as well. But now it doesn't really seem like GRHV does want to challenge the fight. So one of their GRHV member is just going to be backing off with the vehicle. But no, indeed, it seems like he is just going to be positioning himself on a better spot.
Absolutely. Well, we've got GRHV being in such close vicinity. Again, the fight is going to break down any single moment. Assassin really closing in. GRHV do understand, do realize the gravity of the situation. That right now they just can't afford to be, letting a blind eye to the boys from DreamHackers. They might just punish him. And well, two of these players are in that small compound of both these teams, trying to just move in like the pieces on a chessboard.
Yeah.
So right now, I mean, again, the battle is going on as to who's got the better position, because it's of course the TPP mode that we have so seen in all the PUBG Mobile tournaments. I'm really waiting for the FPP modes to start, to be honest. But now, DreamHack is Sandy. He's making so much noise. I mean, pretty much giving away his position to the boys over there. But look at Cooney. He's way too much in the open. And is Ivan crazy? If he spots him down, I mean, he is a dead man walking over there.
Indeed, of course, and he is in the backlines as well, so he's kind of far away from his teammates. But now, what I really want to see is Assassin just completely aggressing onto the players of DreamHackers, but certainly that's not going to be happening anytime soon because they are just going to be playing it safe. And as you said, they do realize what is on the line. If they even manage to make any kind of rookie mistakes off the bats, that might be costing them their second position as well. But take a look at the entire situation over here. The zone is also going to be moving in, and these two spots are just holding each other outside of the zone. And as much as the time is going to be passing by, the crucialness is going to be increasing inside the situation as well. But Cooney's certainly going to be spotting the two members of DreamHackers in the back lines and is going to be smoking his buggy out just to create enough spacing for himself to actually take his buggy and maybe get the rotation inside the circle as well. As we take a look at the fight erupting in front of us, of course, it's going to be DreamHackers making the small mistakes coming in and, of course, showing the glimpse of mistakes going inside as well. And, of course, a man like Assassin is going to be taking the advantage of that and finally going to be closing it out onto Sandy Sir. But now things are down to Diaz Shah only now. Shah, of course, the last man standing inside the compound over there, but his teammates are in the back lines, but certainly really far away. So for them to actually help Shah out might be a little bit of a critical situation going in, as Cooney is also one of the GRHV man, does have holding off the entire backlines of DreamHackers as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how things might be panning out in Shah's favor, as he has spotted Assassin moving closer and closer slowly, time by time, as time is passing by and ticking by. And Assassin is just going to be baiting his body over there just to make sure if Shah is going to be pre-firing that, but it doesn't really seem like Shah is going to be giving his position away that easily. And Shah finally making a massive mistake is going to be giving his position away. At the same time, GRHV is just going to be capitalizing onto it. And it's going to be Assassin to put an end onto Shah's story.
Yeah, but look at Ozzy. He actually wants to get that res back on with his fallen teammate Cooney, who was right out in the open. A very well executed fight by the boys of GRHV. And the revival is possible. All he needs to do is park his vehicle in a proper manner. As DreamHackers, they're retreating. I mean, Z1 Crazy and Sus have nothing to do anymore with this fight anymore.
Certainly they do not. They are just going to be retreating as they do know that the survival points are going to be most essential. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, DreamHackers are struggling in those downline as well. So they might as well just challenge the fight. But they don't really seem like, they want to challenge. They still want to play for those respective points over there going inside. but certainly it's going to be H2o this time, going to be making the rotation inside the circle as well. And they do seem like they are really safe, but now taking a look at the rotations that are happening as well. PWP this time, and seems like there might be early fight going in between PWP and Elementrix as well, and Wipes from the back lines is also closing in.
Absolutely. And, taking a look at this circle, the way it has really gone off, I mean, La Bendita certainly looks like a place where, teams would be wanting to take a lot of fights. And considering the layout over that particular area, it's going to be really tricky. But taking a look at, Team Harame, Harame, like we'd already talked about them, this is a team that did start off really well, but sort of fizzled out and is in the bottom last, despite having even that one chicken to their belts. But as we speak, we've got the players of Team Hypes making that vibes, in fact, making that push onto which the players of Team PWP, and PWP have got those bridges to play around, and taking advantage of that, they are dishing some heavy damage.
Indeed, they are going to be dishing a lot of heavy damage indeed, but now Wipes, they don't really seem like they want to challenge the fight early onto here, and seems like PWP is also going to be waiting for Wipes to actually make any kind of rookie mistakes. As we take a look at the rotation and the backup, it's coming in through as well, and Kurkar is certainly going to be spotting the cavalry, as Malik is going to be closing his distance with the car, and Shinx certainly down to such low HP as well, barely surviving, also going to be backing off in the process, but Kurkar taking so much damage from Shinx in the process as well, but but Knight X finally going to be capitalizing onto that, and certainly just going to be jiggle peeking around. But the overall lead that Wipes has over PWP is just absolutely insane, as they do have the high ground going in as for their favor, and they do have the complete squad of PWP pinned down right in front of their eyes.
Yeah, that they do. But right now, we've got the boys from Team Vibes, Hungry Box. He is playing like a one-man army over there. I mean, of course, the backup is there, the players are over here, but the way he's controlling, the way he's just maneuvering around, I mean, Hungry Box not having the kind of tournament that he would have wanted for himself. But there you go. Malik breaking the deadlock, getting that one knock secured, as Gole gets the trade-off over here onto with Shink. And he's going to make no mistake in trying to get he's going to try to get the finish on. But there you can see he was also punished for that. Kurkure taking some heavy damage. Finally, we can see the players of Team Vibes starting to engulf the players of PWP. It's all down to which Kurkure. Can he clutch it out? With Knight taking a lot of shots onto him, and Hungry Box from the back lines will secure the deal. And with that being said, Team Vibes getting the first squad wipe.
Indeed, that's going to be a massive squad wipe going in as well. Of course, one of the big squad, PWP, getting eliminated early off is going to be such a shocker for most of the team as well. But now Hype do seem like they are in massive water trouble, as they are caught outside the zone. And the fight is going to be progressing on through, as it's going to be raw to log the situations out for them. But certainly Hype do seem like they have the little bit of high ground advantage going inside this. And certainly it's going to be Gurkha's call to not back off anytime soon and just keep Raw locked down.
Team Hype. Well, they kind of scattered out in a very good manner. They are outside the zone. They need to get in, and so do the players of Team Raw. But considering how the zone has taken a shift towards La Bendita, of course, Team Elementrix is over there. And maybe this game can go into their favor, considering not a lot of squads on the southern side. Of course, Carnage will be joining in. But if Team Elementrix managed to spot them down a bit earlier, might just be able to fend off that attack.
Certainly they might be, but now taking a look at P and Legend over here, going to be securing a knock onto Summer. Beautiful headshot with that AK coming in. Of course, going to be completely eliminating his skull out, and of course going to be cracking it out as well in the process. But now, over here, it does seem like PN are in a really good situation going inside this, but like overall, we did see PN, struggling in those early game phases as well in those previous games. But certainly, this should not be the game where PN crew actually makes a mistake, because GRHV is just somewhere in those leaderboard points over there. And if they actually do contest on the entire PN crew there, then PN crew is just going to be losing their complete spot on the second spot over there. But certainly, PN crew has to make something happen this game, because this is just going to be such a crucial game for them, as Aplex is just going to be making the rotation right in front of Ayush, and Ayush missing his entire spray, as Aplex is barely surviving in the process, but certainly going down. An unfortunate turn of events for him.
Yeah, I mean, H2O not really having the kind of a game that they wanted, not really having the time of a tournament that they would have thought for themselves. But, the players of GRHV finally making their move inside the zone all the way from the Picado area. And not a lot of first aids, not a lot of utilities to work things around. Just five bandages you can see onto its Kuni. And Aussie is also pretty low since this is the third circle. They're not taking some heavy damage from the zone, but still the moment they get in, I think majority of the utilities are going to be used out. Now JyanMaara, they've gotten a top
Ooh.
spot on top of the hill, but look at
Hmm.
Snipe. I mean, we've seen this lad delivering most of the times with his bolt action. Of course I want to see that snipers battle between Sandesh and Snipe.
Indeed, we all want to because we did see this man secure the AWM last time. And certainly, Snipe also one of the crucial snipers that entire Nepal region has to offer. And of course, he is going to be playing under the name of Carnage. But for now, there are just so many fights happening. And of course, it's going to be between H2O and GMX this time. Gonna realizing on the fact that Mr. Toby might be on the left line somewhere. And the nade is coming through, but the nade is going to be dishing out a lot of damage onto Mr. Toby, but certainly not enough damage to actually get him knocked out. And Mr. Toby is just going to be healing himself behind the wall. But Sonic's aggression is just relentless. He is going to be taking down Mr. Toby in the process as well. Just beautiful aggression coming from this man. And this man was just not scared of Mr. Toby at all, as he knew that the nade that was thrown in from Gunner is going to be dishing out a lot of damage onto him.
One of the deadliest assaulters of the Nepal region. We know Sonim and the kind of a player that he can be. But considering again the things I've been talking about, the roster changes, few
Mhm.
lacking synergies here and there, and JyanMaara certainly do need some time. And they're the squad that has it in them. And Sonim initially, as he started out as a substitute, but then again, once he got into the regular main lineup, I did see how impressive this player was even during the pro
Yeah,
league. But
yeah.
now H2O and a bit of a pickle over here. They've got Afflex down. It's just coming down to its Freak who goes in for the rescue and to revive his teammate. But look at one. Seems like he just entered into his master plan and carrying it out the way he wants to. Sonim is actually committing with the push. Does manage to ram the buggy in, and there he goes charging in. And look at Extreme on the flank angles, and this is going to be disastrous for Team H2O to defend.
Indeed, that is going to be, as we all know, what JMX is capable of doing. The destruction that they might be putting on board for H2O is just going to be absolutely ruthless. But certainly seems like Sonim, somewhere down the line, doesn't really want to challenge the fight, as Extreme has contested the fight over there. But another fight that is going to be occurring in front of us is going to be between Hype and Harame. And God9 and Milgan has already been taken down as Stereotype, certainly going to be dancing across the field over there, because he does know that he has just absolutely pinned down the entire squad of Harame in the process as well. But currently, Stereotype just going to be playing it out a little safe, doesn't really want to just aggress in directly in through, because he of course knows if he is going to be playing way too much aggressive, that might be costing him his death. But certainly God9 going to be retreating back to his teammates, which is going to be BBEK, and BBEK will probably get the res in, but this doesn't really seem like Hype do want to get that res happening onto them as well, so the aggression might be coming in through from somewhere down the line from Hype as well, and certainly that is going to be happening.
What?
But Cops
Look at the
also in the
smoke.
nearby. Yeah,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but look at the smoke. I've never
yeah.
seen a smoke like that.
I was like, what is going on? Maybe it's just like a visual glitch over there, but maybe it's just a white rainbow that we are seeing for the first time. But now taking a look at Augie over here, there are so many knockdowns happening in the process as well. Ekta losing out on two of their men, and Stereotype and Hype also losing out on the Stereotype. That's going to be a massive disappointment coming in for Hype as well. But Gurkha taking so much damage in the open, but now there are other players of Hype as well. Stereotype finally getting the res back onto him, but now it's all down to these Ekta two players. Now two players have rested themselves back up, and Psycho and Augie are in a little bit of piccolo here. If Stereotype managed to throw on a nade onto them, that might be a massive lot of trouble for them.
Yeah, that might really spell trouble. But right now we've got the players of Team Hype also being rained down on these bullets. But well, as we can see, Prototype. He's got to take this fight head on. Psycho, he's cooked that grenade, and as it comes lobbing in right in front of the screen. I believe that was a Molotov, because that did not really do the kind of a damage that I would have expected. Not the concussion as well coming in, but Team Hype's Prototype has managed to secure those 3 kills as Hockey going in after the players of Team Harame. Will he get the knock? This not going to happen as he gets eliminated, and along with him, the squad goes down, and Team Ekta take an early exit at the 12th position.
Indeed, an unfortunate turn of events for Ekta there. Certainly should have survived a little bit there. But for now, there is another fight happening between Harame and Hype, and certainly seems like Harame are in a massive amount of trouble, as God9 is going to be the last man surviving for them. God9 taking so much damage, and of course, it's going to be Harame to close things out, and Hype is just going to be putting an end to Harame's story there, finally getting eliminated on just 2 kills. But there is one more team on the right, on the right side, and which is of course going to be PN Crew. But PN Crew certainly would not want to challenge the fight in, because they really want to stay as safe as possible, because we all know if they actually go down early this time without getting any kills, then that might be a massive water trouble, because their second position might get contested by anyone.
Yeah, I mean, that is a possibility, but look at Team Elementrix. They finally know who to pick up. They finally are starting to take those fights. Liquid already starting to cook that grenade. If that connects onto its Manish, Elementrix might make a move or two. But, the Nate are doing a little bit of damage, nothing really special, as Circle is completely favoring them. This is the kind of a game that they would want to win. And if they win this, I think they might come up all the way to the 4th spot. And just beside them are the players of PN Crew, and Anek finally being taken down. Not from Team Elementrix, but from the players of Team Hype, as Manish's Mirado is being heavily battered with bullets.
Certainly, it's going to be going down as well. But for now, Hype do seem like they are going to be playing a little bit of on the passive side there. The acceleration is not certainly coming in through. As we take a look, Snipe going to be finding an opening onto the enemy team as well. But certainly, Elementrix is a massive amount of trouble, as they are trying simultaneously back-to-back to keep themselves alive. And certainly, the Rays will be coming in through as well. But Elementrix, somewhere down the line, they are struggling inside those compounds, as they are getting surrounded from all over the angle, and they are the center of attraction over here. But PN Crew also one of the teams that does have a real good cover inside the circle. Now, Carnage, of course, would want to take down all the teams that are next to them, and Hype is going to be one of the teams that is on their right side as well. But an early elimination, a massive casualty coming in, and this time it's going to be GRHV.
Yes, I mean, GRHV, considering the kind of a start they had, not really, kicking in through. But now we've got to see, as we're moving along further, Team Hype, they are on a domination spree. They've already racked in 12 kills. This is the Hype that we have known and loved so far. Finally, all these old guards stepping up in the final day, as everyone wants to be, going out with their heads held up high. As Team Carnage Esports has also been eliminated. But now this is one of those historic, those iconic fights that we may get to witness again. Team Elementrix going against Team Hype.
Certainly, that's going to be a massive, iconic moment to witness overall. But certainly, Hype somewhere down the line, they are not really doing well on those leaderboards. And certainly, it's going to be really hard for Team Hype to actually make the comeback going inside this. But Elementrix, they do have a chance going inside. If Elementrix actually manage to secure the second or even those first spot, that's going to be a massive amount of happiness coming in on the Elementrix faces there. And of course, it's going to be H2o getting eliminated onto the 7th position. And it's going to be JMX putting an end to their story as well. But now all these teams that are in the top 6 situation, they all are doing really good. And even Hype somewhere over here, we are seeing a massive step up inside of their gameplay as well. As we are taking a look, it's going to be Stereotype, Gurkha, and even Prototype just absolutely smashing everybody down in the process. Now, Wibe's also one of the teams that is alive in those late game process. It's going to be Hungry Box, and we all know what Hungry Box is capable of doing. That man can just that man is just an absolute nuclear missile himself.
Yes, that he is. But considering the map of Miramar, numbers really come down. numbers do matter over here. The more players you have, the better your chances are of getting that chicken. As we can see the shift going up top, and this is where Mr. Hyozu is right out in the open. The players of PN Crew are trying to get those res back onto their teammates, but look at Kurkai, he spotted out Liquid with his pants down. Does manage to take him though, but Mr. Hyozu retaliating in heavy fashion, and a knock each from both these sides as a player of Team Hype. They are trying to engulf the players of Team Elementrix, as all the players over here from EX are kind of on the back lines. They're all clustered up, and a few good grenades might just do the job.
Certainly, a few good utility placement might just do the job. As we take a look at Stereotype, also going to be peeking it outside, but Prototype is also taking so much damage in the process. Now Stereotype is so much more down and dead. Of course, that was going to be happening because he just had such low HP, sliver of HP going inside this, and that's going to be an end to Hype as well. But now another team that is going to be interesting to watch, it's going to be PN Crew. How long are they going to be holding off in those open edges? Of course, they do have that little bit of rage going inside for themselves, but DreamHackers is going to be another team that is going to be stepping up right in front of them. And how long is PN Crew going to be able to step it outside? Of course, they are getting the reds onto their teammates, which is going to be Sandesh, and it's going to be Afsec getting the reds onto him. But Crazy and Sus, certainly they do seem like they are aware of the entire PN Crew's position over there. And it's going to be Elementrix from the backline dishing out so much damage on the PN Crew as well, as they do realize that PN Crew is just out in the open. And there are so many nades and so many bullets being fired at the same time. And which team is going to be coming out on top? It's just going to be such an interesting thing to witness.
Well, right now, as things have started to get really intense over here, we do see the circle really being panned out. The players of DreamHackers, they need to get inside the zone. And the players of PN Crew, they are marching in like cavalry, coming in to decimate every single player that they see on their road. Yeah. But now, Elementrix, Bromine getting that beautiful knock over there, having that high ground advantage to themselves. Team Vibes, trying to survive in that shroud of smoke. But Team PN Crew getting those 11 kills. This is exactly what they needed. This is exactly the kind of an outing that they needed to secure or to cement the second spot that they are holding on to.
Certainly, simultaneously, Sandesh is trying his best to hit any of his shots onto the entire squad of Elementrix, but certainly it's not going to be happening anytime soon, as Elementrix is just jiggle peeking, and there comes the spray. Legend is going to be taken down, and in the same time, it's going to be Ayush also going down, but now DreamHackers are capitalizing onto them, and Vibes is going to be the one to actually take one of the members down from Elementrix, and these are just so many third parties happening. But now over here, PN Crew has managed to secure that res onto them, but Sandesh doesn't really seem like he has any of the meds going in onto his side as well. But DreamHackers, I1 Crazy is going to be the last man surviving for them, and Sus also trying his best to actually make it inside the circle, and that is going to be happening. But PN Crew overall still battling it out for their situation and for their position. Afsec taking so much damage outside the circle. Ayush out in the open taking so much damage from Elementrix. Of course he's going to get down because he has no cover for himself. As we take a look, that's going to be an end to PN Crew, and Elementrix is just an absolute domination spree as it only down to these three teams. And of course it's going to be one of the Vibes member as well. But how long is Vibes going to be able to out-survive the entire domination coming from Elementrix? And also, it's going to be one of the last members standing from I1 Crazy, and he is going to be going down from Vibes. It's going to be Nidex putting an end to DreamHackers. But now, it's going to be the final fight between Vibes and Elementrix. Inception does have that molly cooking up. He is going to be throwing that molly inside the shed, but is that molly going to be connecting? No, certainly not going to be happening. And Vibes certainly do know that they do have one of the best situations outside the circle, but certainly they will need to make it inside. So all Elementrix has to do is just hold on to their angles. It seems like Elementrix this time are looking just in an absolute disastrous way. They are looking so strong.
Yeah, of course. Team Elementrix, the position has been compromised. So is the same case with the boys from Team Vibes. Now it is a 2v2 situation. Each one of them trying to play the zone over here. And if you can see the circle, it's slowly but surely, is tending to go towards the players of Team Elementrix. Team Vibes need to make that move. They need to need to ensure a knock before they try and do that. But how are they going to go with it? They need to spot out one of those players, and Inception and Promen not really making any kind of mistake over here, as the 8 circle has started closing in. anything can possibly happen. Knight with that beautiful, beautiful grenade lobbed at the right time, gets that fantastic knock, and there you go. The push comes in. Can Broman survive this? Can Broman clutch it out as the players of Team Vibes both pushing in tandem over here, and Broman trying to get that one knock. Yes, he does. Can he get the second? Yes, he does. And with that being said, Team Elementrix getting that beautiful, beautiful winner chicken dinner.
Hashtag X Nation all over the place. I am just absolutely impressed by the amount of skill these lads are just presenting on the board. I am just so happy for this team, and certainly they are going to be securing the hashtag 4th spot. These guys are one of the best teams today this time. I am just so happy for these lads.
Oh my goodness, oh my god, what did we just see over here? I mean, Broman coming right out on top. And yes, this win, this chicken dinner has took them to the 4th spot. But with just one more game remaining, can they clinch on? Can they get that 3rd? Because they need one more chicken. But right now, let's take a look at who the MVP was. Has to be Team Hype. The kind of a fight that they were taking, and Prototype 6 kills, well deserved.
Indeed, Prototype was just putting on so much work. Of course, those 6 kills on 1,071 damage. This is what I was exactly saying. Hype this time has actually managed to step it up. And somewhere down the line, I do feel like it's just Bangladeshi region, repeating over. We did see some of the bottom lines teams from the Bangladeshi region step up in those last games. Of course, Team Wolves was the one to actually step their gameplay up in those late game phases as well. But certainly down the line, this time seems like Hype is also doing the same thing. And Prototype with those hashtag 6 kills, and then Broman going to be following it up with 6 kills. Of course, the man who actually clutched the last situation down, and then Legend with 5 kills as well, and then Ayush just an absolute beast as well. We all know how good PN Ayush is. Of course, securing those 4 kills for himself and 636 damage. But just what an absolute decimating performance coming in from Elementrix. I am just absolutely mind blown. 2 chicken dinners in 3 matches. I am speechless. I am absolutely speechless.
I mean, what do I say at this point? I mean, let's take a look at the match summary. And, Miramar has always been the game. And the rather interesting part is that they missed out on the first Miramar. Had they, now I'm gonna make things sound worse. Had they played that map of Miramar, and had they, gotten around 10-12 kills in that, maybe things could have been different today. And yeah, we might make a lot of speculations, but yes, the reality always strikes hard. And the way Team Elementrix has been playing today, had they done the same thing, at least yesterday as well, today we might have seen them in a completely different position. But now the first spot again being taken by Elementrix, 26 points. Elementrix is really fighting, really giving a huge competition to all these teams. But once the overall standings come out, we will really have a clear idea as to whether or not they have a chance of qualifying.
Indeed, one thing I really want to know here is how Elementrix started their day off. Like, what did they have for their breakfast? What special did they do? Did they pray to their gods or something? What exactly happened over here? Because Elementrix was just those sleeping beasts in those early game phases, in those early days, and now out of nowhere in the last day, they just decided to absolutely pop off and just win each and every single game. Of course, in those in the later Sanhok phases, they just got the 2nd position, but of course that was a massive placement points coming in for them as well. But Elementrix just showing an absolute decimating performance and taking the spotlight over from onto PN Crew from Elementrix for a while. I really feel like PN Crew has also played really good in those late game phases. Of course, they did get caught off guard in the open ground somewhere, but certainly I am pretty sure PN Crew is also going to be retaliating or indeed freezing their 2nd spot.
Yeah, of course, as we head along to the Oppo moments, yes, rightfully said, this performance of PN Crew is going to take them a solid ticket. In fact, it's going to grant them that ticket for the PMPL. I mean, they've done the majority of the job. And once the overall rankings do come up, we'll have a very clear idea whether or not Elementrix has a chance in this one. But, that's where it really hurts us, the kind of a performance that they've been putting, which could have possibly been 3 back-to-back chickens, the hat-trick chickens coming out from Team Elementrix. Had it been a bit earlier, they could have, done a lot, but it's all right. They actually get to walk home with their heads held high, like we just mentioned. But, talking about Team Hype, I mean, we can't rule them out of this one. I mean, the way they played in this particular map, I was impressed. And now this is where, even
Yeah.
Team Elementrix, Team Hype, where were they all these times? This is them being at the real best. This is them,
Yeah.
completely dominating the chance. Look at PNQ's damage, but cannot really rule out how explosive Team Hype and Team Elementrix have been in this one. Of course, Team Elementrix
Certainly.
getting that chicken.
Yeah, and also PN Crew, we can't be, taking the spotlight away from them, securing those massive 12 kill numbers, just as same as Hype has done there. PN Crew was absolutely decimating in this late game circle as well. But for now, let's just take a look at the overall ranking and just take a look at Elementrix there. A massive leap. I'm just so happy for them.
Oh, it's doable.
It's doable. I was telling you it's doable.
It can be done. Team Elementrix, dream is real. I mean, just 5 points difference. And if they manage to do that, if some team, takes GRHV early on and Elementrix get 5 more extra points, it's possible.
It's possible.
I mean, right now, I never thought coming in to the Nepali finals, we would expect such a change in the tail. Team Elementrix, they have had a lot to prove, and the kind of a performance that they've put up. Yes, so close.
Yep.
So close they are. And I guess this is the only team. This is the only team right now who can really contend for the third spot. Because the other one, being at 152 points, it's going to be kind of difficult. But, well, I think this is the only storyline that we have building for you guys. Can Elementrix qualify? A big name.
I am
You calling
already
it?
saying, I'm calling it. Elementrix is going to be making it only 5 points difference fixes. As long as Gurkha High Voltage is sleeping, I am pretty sure Elementrix is just going to be winning the race in the process as well. And I really want Elementrix to take it in their hands as well. But how long is Gurkha High Voltage going to be maintaining that passive point stages on those leaderboards? That's going to be the interesting part to see. As if Gurkha High Voltage steps their gameplay up, then it's going to be a equal competition going inside for Elementrix as well.
I mean, anything can be possible right now. I mean, we both need a breathe. Guys, we are heading for a short little break because we will be coming back with the final game of Erangel.
Yep.
Welcome back. The final showdown. over here in the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Nepal region, as the last match, the game of Erangel. That is going to decide whether or not Team Elementrix is going to the PMPL. I mean, they've played in PMPLs before, but this time, as an invited team to the PMCO, they've got to prove their mettle. And they've been silent throughout. The last day, they just suddenly, out of nowhere, come popping off. And GRHV, I can imagine the kind of a pressure these lads are in. Necro, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, you've already told it, but I'm really scared because in this situation, in circumstances like this, the pressure is inexplainable right now.
Yeah,
The pressure
yeah,
cannot really be described, and
yeah,
they've been in situations like this. I think we just need to let the game simmer. We need to
yeah,
let the
yeah,
game
yeah,
speak
yeah,
for itself. We've got to
yeah,
ask the
certainly.
chat. What do you think? Can Elementrix make a comeback, or do you think it's the boys from GRHV taking the slot home?
I mean, one thing we all know is that Elementrix just always drops onto either of those military base or Fairpier area, and then it's just team cops all the time going towards nowhere. No, so their drop locations are completely located there, and they are completely set though. So they have just frozen their drop locations, so they are never going to be moving away from their drop locations. So of course, one thing might be happening over here that as soon as Team Elementrix drops on the military base as well, there might be another team dropping with them. So just to put an early exit to Team Elementrix or just to grief the game out of Team Elementrix, that might be happening anytime soon. So I really feel like at this point in time, Team Elementrix should be so cautious, as those late game positioning should be really crucial for them.
It definitely is. But right now, Team Elementrix, I think they're going to stick to their regular drop location, like they're heading on towards a military base. But Team PWP, well, they've dropped off at Salva and Kameshki, and Team
Yeah.
Elementrix, they've got to, play their cards right. To be honest, because if this is not a Southern Circle, then a whole world of trouble. And we can see
Yeah.
Team Quinn already
Yep.
dropping right beside them. We've also got Raw.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Take a look
oh,
at the circle.
even
The
the gods,
circle.
even the
Oh my
gods of
god.
PUBG Mobile want Team Elementrix to be qualifying, but it's not going to be an easy task because
Yeah.
Liquid is right beside Milgen from Team Harame. Team
Yeah.
Hype heading on towards the Gatka side, but I would also like to have my eyes on towards the players of GRHV who have dropped off at school. I mean, we cannot really rule them out, right? We know
Yeah.
they've got it in them.
Yeah. They certainly have got it in them. But now, one thing over here I really want to put a notice on, that Yozu was actually going for the military base initially, but then he saw there were just like so many squads going on in those nearby phases. So he actually decided to turn around in those last second and actually go and contest for that fair pier and even those surrounding compounds over there, which is a really brilliant decision coming from Yozu. He does realize the depth of field over here. He does realize what is on the line. If they actually manage to mess this game up, that might be just an end for each and every single fan they have. It might be just an end for each and every single hope there. But for now over here, there might be an early fight going in between Carnage and GRHV. If Carnage accidentally maybe just start stepping towards school area, and there might be a fight wrapping up inside over there as well. But for now, it doesn't really seem like none of these teams are in each other's vicinities for now, because things are just looking so calm and so collected.
Well, Team Quinn did, of course, drop off at the Millie base. Team Elementrix, to their surprise, did manage to stick together in this one. They know how important this game is for them. And GRHV, well, they've got a long road ahead of them. They've got to deal with a lot of different squads. And in the meanwhile, Team P and crew is pretty chill. They're like, guys, we are in Severny. We also have the slot for the PMPL. We're doing good. But it's not just Team Elementrix, trying to get a good spot. They also have to make sure that GRHV gets eliminated early on. So, I mean, with just 5 points difference, it's very much doable. And JyanMaara, this is the team, that had the chance coming in to the last day to win this game. But somewhere down the line, they sort of blew it up.
Somewhere, yeah, yep, they actually did blow it up because they are not really able to secure those, positioning points going for themselves. They are trying their best, try and go for those kill points and even those positioning points. But somewhere down the line, when they're actually challenging the fights, they're actually falling short and they're just getting completely wiped out. And one of the teams that you really wanted to take a look was certainly GRHV over here. And you are going to be taking a look at their perspective as well. Certainly, they do seem like they have really good loot going inside this. And one thing I really want to witness over here is that how much loot Elementrix is going to be wrapping up. Of course, they did drop into those Fairapir areas as well. And they might be getting a decent amount of loot as well. But certainly those meds are going to be the factor to actually decide the later games as well. As we take a look at the circle, it did shift out kind of in the military sides and just on the bottom left side completely there. But if the circle is going to be panning out towards the military base, then that's going to be a massive problem for all these teams, especially teams that are near those school areas and the teams that are in outskirts.
Team Harame. Well, we've already spoken the tale about this one. So Team Harame, they've taken control over those lighthouse compounds, right? And they've also got control over this house just beside it, also on the visit tower, and the gas station is the only one that's left. I might not.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have taken that, but that would have been a rather foolish decision because
Yeah.
you need to have two players in this particular area. That's a perfect setup that you need to defend, right? So considering the circle, we still do not know where it's gonna go. It might go down south. It might just be going up top. It might just be at these junctions. Either ways, Team Elementrix and GRHV, they need to make it to the final circles. I think a duel is a better way to decide things out.
Yeah.
A final circle fight, 4v4 over there. Both these teams, just bring it on.
That would have been absolutely iconic, the most iconic moment we would have noticed outside the entire PMCO. And I mean, we are already witnessing an iconic moment. Just overall, the comeback that Elementrix has shown inside is just so fascinating. And as I'm saying, it's just an absolute iconic moment. And it's like I actually want to go back and see the recap of how Elementrix just completely decimated the entire squads. But for now, it's going to be Team Harame over here kind of taking a really good position. And they do seem like they're going to be camping the Brit side a little bit there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good spot to be in, to be honest. And considering DreamHackers so far outside the circle, they've started their move. But this is where they do spot out one of those teams trying to just take a peekaboo over there and deciding not to engage. All these teams want to get that final chicken dinner, want to go home with a light heart that they came in, they tried, and we've always been saying about it, right? I mean, either you win or you learn. Nobody is a loser over here because making it to the regional finals of the PMCO is a pretty big thing in itself. And these teams have certainly managed to do that. A lot of mistakes were definitely made, but we still have to consider the fact that it's still the first PMCO. And of course, as the saying goes, Rome was not built in a day, so it takes time. And
Certainly.
yeah, if these teams kind of tend to stick to each other, kind of figure out the problems that they faced and work upon it, I'm sure in the next future tournaments, which are going to be pretty quick, in the next tournaments, they might really be the big names that we've been looking out for.
Certainly the big names will be popping up, but for now the main focus and limelight and the spotlight is of course going to be on the Elementrix and GRHV. Of course, all the fans are waiting eagerly which team will be making it, and this is what really puts these final days in the more specializing eyes, because everyone just wants to witness an absolute competition going in, and this is what makes these things just absolutely interesting to watch. But for now, focusing on PWP over here, they do seem like they have gotten a compound for themselves over here, but only for a short while. But they will have to get a movement inside the circle anytime soon. I mean, they are inside the circle, but I am pretty sure the zone might not be panning out on their situation there. And taking a look at the entire situation that JMX is putting themselves in, and the rotation they are making themselves in. I mean, somewhere down the line in the previous games, it does seem like JMX are making some crucial mistakes on the rotations, of course, but is this rotation going to be panning in their favor? This is going to be an interesting factor to notice, because of course, if they get contested from the backlines, that might be a massive trouble going inside this game.
I mean, at this point, to be honest, that one game that they missed out, that one game of Miramar
Yeah.
is gonna, is gonna hurt Elementrix if they don't qualify. To be honest,
Yeah,
that's gonna
certainly.
give them the nightmares, the creeps, and you know, life is not really fair all the time,
Yeah, and even
and
time and tide doesn't wait for none.
exactly, and
Yeah.
not just that. This is a team we have seen in every big tournaments, and you know, right from the esports, being built up in Nepal. I think Team Elementrix were one of those front runners, and if they do not qualify in this time around, this would be an absolute shocker. But here we go. We see some fights breaking out. TDP, of course, going after Team Hype. And it's also Milgen that's going to secure one more kill over here. But looking at TDP, IR2 caught in a very, very sticky situation. And finally managing to retreat out. And will make out safely. Yes, he
Yep.
does.
Yep, certainly the retreation is going to be coming through. And focusing on the game that Elementrix lost, of course, that could have changed so much things for them. But certainly, as they were running out of time as well. So, as I said, time and tide waits for none. So, this is what exactly happened there. And unfortunate turn of events, of course, for Elementrix. But as we take a look over here, Hype do seem like they're in a massive world of trouble. Beautiful shots coming in from Harame overall. And seems like it's going to be from the backlines as well. They are getting contested from all over the angle. And Harame also putting in work from the front lines. And Hype certainly needs to reposition themselves if they want an overall really good position going inside the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Team Hype, well, not in a position that they would have wanted to be in right now, considering one of their players already has been taken down. Gurkha already on his knees. He needs that res up. He's been given that. He will, of course, heal up in a short span. But after this, where do they go from here? And had they had 4 players, it would have been a rather better affair. But got 9. Whoa, okay. What is he up to? I mean, I
I
think he's
mean,
trying to form an off angle. I mean, imagine
yeah.
someone just pushes right onto their face and he's like, guys, I'm up here. You do not see me. And he can
Yep.
just go ham, but deciding to rather step back and step on the ground and spot out the players of PWP and take them in the action.
Certainly, goalie taking a little bit of damage in the process, but PWP overall taking a look at their positioning, it's just so bad going inside because they are just so separated from each other, and certainly they are out in the open as well. So even if they try to make the rotation, of course they are going to get contested by even Hype and Harame, of course, which are going to be there. But one thing I really want to take into consideration is that the next circle, where is it going to be panning things out? Because we all want to see all these teams, contesting for each other and just overall a really massive competition going inside this. But seems like Harame are going to be showing a massive aggression onto Hype over here. And Gurkha YT did spot Milgen, but Milgen also knowing the position of Gurkha YT there in the process, taking a little bit of shots, but nothing really happening. And of course, a beautiful nade coming in from God9, going to be taking down Gurkha there. And another nade comes in, and the finish is going to be happening anytime soon. And yep, there goes the finish. And that's going to be the kill opening coming in for Harame over there. But seems like Hype are in a massive water trouble as they are making the rotations happen. And they don't really seem like they want to actually challenge the fight. So they are just going to be taking their vehicles and backing off as Prototype is just on his knees, bowing down. He is knocked out for his team. And Hype, it's like the game is completely over. So at this point, even if they do back out, it's not going to be changing things much because, yeah, of course, the leaderboards is not going to be waiting for them anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, that won't make a huge change on the leaderboard, but look at
Yeah.
Shinx. I mean, well, Hungry Box completely baited this one out, not even kidding, over there, as Ayush also on the ground. Malik needs to heal himself up, but rather going in for the Gwens and surviving with a sliver over there, but Malik in turn securing that beautiful, beautiful knock onto its AvSec. And this is the moment where he might want to heal, but no, this lad does not want to stop from over there. And yes, finally deciding to patch
Finally, yep.
himself up. Yes, team vibes. They're looking really promising. They're looking really strong. But PN2, they can certainly afford this loss. They can afford this beating. They are not going to fall short. And considering how things are going on over here, Prototype really going into the seas. But in Elementrix coming out there, they want every single kill that they can collect for themselves. They want every single point that is absolutely necessary. And yes, Prototype, oh my goodness. Is he going to give that kill away? Or is the team
Taking
Elementrix?
so much damage.
Oh, can he? Oh, he does spot them. He does spot him. Does he take those shots? Are they going to connect? No. A lot of bullets being used over here. A lot of bullets being committed. But not any possible good result.
Certainly, they are going to be missing so many shots in the process, but just take a look at the fight that is happening. Raw is just going to be aggressing onto Snipe YT, and Snipe YT, of course, a really solid man coming in from Carnage. He is going to be taking him down as well, but now Frag Boy also went down in the process, and Snipe is just showing an absolute relentless and ruthless aggression onto the players of Ruthless Aggressive Warriors as well. As we take a look at Bishal, also going to be backing off in the process, does know the fight is not really panning out in his favor. Now, just take a look at Pico Pick. He is down to 1 HP. The medkits and the first aids are going to be used in the process, but Shao is also in the back lines. As we take a look at Paragod, throwing a little bit of utilities in the meantime, and simultaneously he is also going to be realizing that there might be one of the guys inside this little dumpster going inside. And finally, it seems like he is making his way to throw a nade inside the dumpster, and no, it's not going to be happening there. And it's going to be thrown onto Bishal, but Bishal certainly not really exposing himself. A beautiful contestation coming from this man. What an absolute well-played timing over there from Pick over there. But just an absolute beautiful, the way he waited it out and the way he was waiting for the exact moment to strike. Pika, which was just an absolute beast in those waiting game situations. But now Augie does realize the situation somewhere down the line is really stumbly for his team, which is going to be Ekta. So he's just going to be smoking himself out, buying that little bit of time to flush himself out of the sights of the enemy team, which is going to be Carnage and even Raw.
Hey.
But the overall situation that is going to be planning out, it's going to be such a massive destruction coming in, and it's going to be Vixira going down in the process as well.
I mean, Necro, the kill feed. Mr. Hyozu has fallen. It's the boys from Team KWIN that are bringing the fight up. But now getting back to the fight in hand over here. Team Ekta, well, they're still putting up the fight. Liquid taking a dig onto its God 9, and we'll get the knock confirmed. He needs those kills. Knocks are not gonna do anything over there. Already one-man shot. Things have started getting really tipsy and turvy for Team Elementrix as the players of Team Raw, well, they need to take over on this compound, which is very well defended by the boys from Carnage.
Certainly, Carnage is going to be spreading Carnage as we take a look. Liquid also realizing on the players of Harame there and going to be throwing those little bit of utilities going in in the process well. And the grenade is certainly doing a little bit of damage, but not enough. And Liquid also is kind of far away from his team. And Inception and there do have his backlines covered. I mean, Inception, yep, he is in the backlines of Liquid over there. And it's just going to be Inception and Liquid with each other. But certainly, I do feel like somewhere down the line, they should actually retreat onto each other as we take a look at QWIN. Kazi making those rotation from the back lines. And is Kazi going to get contested, though? That's going to be a massive thing to notice as there are just so many teams coming on the beach area over here. But how long is Elementrix going to be holding off this race? This is going to be interesting to see because there are some of the teams also making the rotation in the back lines. But Elementrix certainly do seem like they are stumbling across for a while as Inception is taking so much damage. And also there are a lot of teams just coming in. There are so many teams in the nearby vicinity of Elementrix. Elementrix do seem like they are in a massive world of trouble as Harame are also getting some people knocked down as well. Harame are also in a massive world of trouble at the same time. There are another team in the nearby vicinity. It's going to be Team Cops, but certainly Elementrix do seem a little bit safe for now.
They certainly do, but what do they do when the zone shifts away from them? How do they survive? And in the meanwhile, we do see Brewman getting those few knocks here and there, but the confirmations are not coming out from Team Elementrix. That is relentlessly fighting over there. Team Harame, God9 has fallen down. Bibek and Milgen, 2 players surviving for this team. And they have spotted out Team Elementrix, which is apparently sandwiched in this particular situation. But look at the circle. Look at how it has really panned out. Team Elementrix, they've got that Dasha to make that move in. But considering so many squads are around them, how are they going to do it? They've rather used the car for their cover, and that's a good idea. But C1 Crazy elsewhere taking a knock onto its Delta. It's absolutely chaos that is starting up over here. But look at the players of GRHV. They are safe right now. They are not engaging anymore. but Team Elementrix making so much noise, making so much sounds in the lobby, taking so many engagements. I mean, there might be a moment where things might really go south for them, and we just have to wait and watch, because in 8 or 9 minutes we will have the fate of Team Elementrix and Team GRHV decided.
Certainly, it will be happening as the time is going to be proceeding forward. But for now, Haramis are in a massive water trouble as God9 has been completely finished. But Crazy also getting capitalized from the backlines as well. DreamHackers are out in the open. And of course, that is yet to happen. That is going to be happening anytime soon if you're just going to be exposing your body and spraying the people down from farther ranges. But Inception certainly going to be healing himself back up as he was knocked out. But certainly his helmet is also going to be taken down. But Inception trying his best to capitalize and keep his team alive as well. He does not really want to give his frag away that easily. As we take a look, Bromine also spotting Harame, and even PvP in the process going to be dishing out a little bit of shots, as Rag is also from the back lines on the left line. Entire team of Team KWIN is also in the back lines over there. But now one thing is going to be interesting to see, is Team KWIN going to be deciding to push onto the members of Eccentric? And if they are, Elementric, if they are, then that's going to be pushing so much more trouble onto the back lines of Elementrix as well. But for now, it seems like Team KWIN is also getting contested from the long ranges, and Liquid taking under heavy damage. Liquid's car is also burning down. His car is smoking. How long is Inception going to be staying alive? That's going to be a massive thing to see. The entire squad is also might be crumbling down if they actually just keep on riding the same car. And finally, they're going to ram inside the compound where PN Crew, a member of PN Crew, is just barely alive. But now they do seem like they have a little bit of safe rotation inside the circle as well. They have a little bit of safe house covered for themselves. And Elementrix does know that how crucial this game is. If they get eliminated early off, that might be a massive world of troubles going inside for them. But now just take a look at the rotation Team KWIN is making. They are building the pathways of smoke. They are trying their best to stay alive for a while. The smokes are going to be providing a little bit of cover as we take a look at GRHV, one of the teams that is under consideration for the top 3 process as well. They are in such a massive water trouble as Assassin and Aussie have already went down in the process.
Yes, they certainly have. But right now, the revivals are on process over here. They are going to get online anytime soon. They're still in the zone. They still have those players to work around things with. I mean, the pressure is so much on these lads. I can absolutely feel their nerves trembling over there. But look at Vishal having spotted down the players of Team Elementrix as he starts cooking up that grenade. And Team Elementrix taking so many fights, losing out on those 2 players. That's going to be really expensive. But right now we can see the players of PWP being wiped out by the boys from DreamHackers. And now Team Ekta going after Team KWIN. So many fights breaking out. 21 minutes already in. 9 teams surviving. 22 players in the lobby. But the question still remains, who is it going to be? Is it going to be GRHV or is it going to be Team Elementrix? Now GRHV haven't really secured any points. They have lost out on one of their members, but it is Team Elementrix with 2 players surviving and 1 point secured. But this is not the kind of an outing that they can afford right now. All they need to do is get some 5-6 kills, because that's the difference. That's the margin. Ensure that GRHV is out, because if they do not do that, if they let GRHV get those top 4, top 5 positions, then this is not going to matter to anything else.
I mean, certainly, it does seem like Elementrix do have that zone going in for them, and they are right in the middle of the zone as well. But JMX also one of the teams that will have to make those early game restrictions as we take a look at Vibes building that smoke pathway for themselves just to move inside the circle. And those smokes are certainly going to be buying them a little bit of time, as they do realize JMX is in the nearby vicinity, and they will have to try their fast. They do know that the time is certainly not going to be much, and the time is certainly not going to be waiting for them, as well as the zone will be shrinking down slowly and slowly. They will have to make the rotations happen, and certainly Gurkha High Voltage do realize that as well. They are also building the smoke pathways. They are trying their best to actually make those rotations inside the circle as early as possible, but just take a look. So many rotations are happening over here. TDP also getting caught off guard while they're trying to make the rotation, but Raw also at the same time, they do have the compound going in, and they will also have to take the rotation inside the circle. As we all know, Elementrix do have that compound for themselves, but certainly down the line, we all know they are also going to be struggling. But Elementrix have been eliminated. They have gone.
They're done?
Oh no. Well, Elementrix also getting caught off guard while they did try to make the rotation inside the car. This is what I was saying, where Elementrix was just making those, really careless rotations inside the circle. They should have actually been and waited out a little bit for a while over there, but certainly there are so many bullets being fired in the process. TDP also putting in so much work just to, make sure they are going to be securing that end chicken dinner there, because this is the last game where they need to prove themselves. And of course, the respect is going to be on top if this team actually manages to secure the chicken dinner for themselves. But now Raw in the back lines as well, they do seem like they are struggling and stumbling down, because one of the players of Raw is also knocked down. But now GRHV do seem like they have contested the top 3 spot for themselves, and of course GRHV is going to be going in. But for now, there is a massive competition building up between Hypes and Wipes and JMX. JMX do realize that there is Team Vibes onto their right side, and even some of the teams that they are in those front line as well. And certainly Extreme is going to be throwing those smoke grenades for those extra bit of visual cover.
Right now, we've got 6 teams amidst us. Assassin finally living up to his name, just spotting down those players, knocking them out from their covers. But that's where a hungry box, the hungry mean man, the hungry killing machine spots him out and takes him down. He is doing so much damage. He's inflicting that hurt into the hearts of their enemies. And, had he done that a little bit while ago, and Team Elementrix could have survived, things could have gone either way. But still, we've been talking so much about the Elementrix that we completely ruled out how consistent GRHP have been, how well deserving this team has been over here to go into the PMPL.
I mean, certainly the comeback that was made from Elementrix was just an absolute iconic. So, of course, they do deserve the spotlight going in as well. Because we certainly didn't expect, actually, Elementrix just to, pull off that massive comeback. But as we take a look, it's going to be Vibes to put an end to JMX, which is going to be JyanMaara. And Assassin also going to be getting completely wiped out in the process. It's going to be Malik to put an end as well. But for now, it's going to be a battle between these 4 teams. It's going to be TDP, Vibes, GRHV, and Raw. Which team is going to be coming out on top is, of course, going to be the interesting factor to notice as we take a look at TDP. Also in the back lines, trying their best to rest their teammate out. But certainly, somewhere down the line, TDP does know that the zone might be forcing them inside the circle, or the zone might be forcing their enemy teams inside the circle. And certainly, that's going to be GRHV completely eliminated. And that's going to be a member from Raw completely taking him out.
Yes, they are going down. The bodies are falling as finally we just have 3 teams amongst us. 12 kills for Team Raw. Better late than never is their motto for tonight, as they want to walk home with their heads held up high. Now TDP against Team Vibes, against Team Raw. What an outing it has been for every single team. Now they are all in pursuit for that glorious chicken, the final chicken as we call it, as the zone starts closing in. Hungry Box already been spotted down by Yaku. Any single moment, one more spray and he might just get down, and there you go. For 2 teams are surviving. It's a 2v2 situation. Which one team is going to come out on top? Is it going to be Team Raw or is it going to be Team TDP?
Certainly, it's going to be a massive factor to notice as the nades are barraging in through, and certainly Raw is going to be taking a little bit of damage from that as well. The Molotovs are coming in through, but Molotovs don't really seem like they're going to get connected, and the first man is going down from Team Raw, and it's all down to Bishal. Bishal barely surviving behind that car, but also going to be using that first aid. But now it's such an interesting factor to see how is Bishal going to be turning the situation out in his favor, and of course, it's going to be TDP to take down everything in their hands.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. TDP walking home with the chicken dinner. And now, where does this take them? To the 9th spot, of course. I mean, the cash. I mean, in terms of cash. They came in, they fought, they did whatever they could. But TDP, my oh my. A lot of assumptions can be made. A lot of analysis can be done over what really happened. Now, but in the end, we do know who is taking that 3rd spot home. It's definitely going to be the boys from GRHV, ladies and gentlemen. But now let's take a look at who the MVP was, and this is Pico Pick, a new player into the team of Raw in the last final day, who comes in and absolutely takes everybody by a surprise.
And certainly Raw do seem like they're playing really better with Pico Pick over here, because just the overall performance that Team Raw has been showing lately in these final day over here was just an absolute relentless performance coming in. Of course, 6 kill and 1,039 damage coming in from this man. As we are talking, of course, this is just a substitution coming in from Raw as well. And taking the fact that under consideration, Pico Pix is just playing so good.
Yeah, I mean, hearts are broken today, to be honest. A lot of hearts have been broken.
Yep, certainly mine too. Certainly mine too.
But there you go, the top players coming out. And yeah, Pico Peak, let's talk about this lad, because this is the only last time we get to talk about him in the PMCO. Of course, the first time being now. And yeah, I mean, coming in as, just wanting to have a taste of how things are in the PMCO. So he came in and he did fairly well, considering it was his first time taking the MVP. It's a pretty big stat. As we take a look at the match summary, I mean, this circle was ridiculous. The way it was approached, and Team Elementrix, nothing much to say over here. A few mistakes here and there. They knew that for them to really qualify, they would have had to get all those 5 to 6 kills. But considering they were playing on the edge, that was the questionable decision over here. Because when you're playing the edges, it kind of gets really tricky when the zone shifts against you. Now, they tried to rotate around. It took so many early fights, Broman and Mr. Heroes were being taken down so early. And it all came down to Liquid and Inception. They still tried their best, but could not do much.
Yeah, one thing I really want to pan out over here, how Elementrix got eliminated. So I'm going to be analyzing the entire situation over here. So Elementrix was actually getting contested initially from all across the side, we did see. And they were actually making those, really crucial rotation inside the circle and really, desperate rotation, as I would like to call it. They were making so many desperate rotation. They did make one desperate rotation. They did manage to ram their vehicle inside the compound, and they did manage to secure that compound as well. But certainly they also needed to make the second rotation while the circle didn't really pan out in their favor. And they tried their best to actually go inside the circle with the rotation as well. But certainly that is where the entire squad of Elementrix got caught off guard. And that's how Elementrix got an end to their story as well. But now taking a look at the Oppo moments over here, I am certainly going to be, so heartbroken after the the storyline ending for Elementrix over there, because just the overall comeback over there was, I'm pretty sure people from the long time and long being over here are going to be talking about this comeback all the time.
I mean, had that been real, yes. But let's get back into reality. We're not in the fairyland anymore. Can't rule out GRHV at all. Massive respect to this team. Because you need to understand that in tournaments like this, consistency matters. You just can't expect to come and pop off in one single day and expect that, you were the winners over here. You deserve to be qualifying. And GRHP, they have been the more disciplined bunch over here. Nothing really taken down. The kind of a performance that they have shown, being a relatively new team, if you put them in par with Elementrix, I mean, they have been there. They've been performing. They have been so good, even during the last PMPL. They had shown that kind of a performance. But as we head along to the damage graph and see as to how things really went out, of course, Team Raw having the highest damage of all, but it was the boys from TDP who sailed this one home. But yeah, moving along further. GRHV is a team that did play consistently through the course of the last 2-3 days, and I think they are the more deserving team over here in comparison with Team Elementrix. And I think this is an established fact. This has been even reflected on the storyboard.
Certainly it has been reflected on the storyboard as well. But for now, one thing also I want to point out, of course, you are giving so much credit to even GRxHIGHVOLTAGE for, surviving inside the game. I really feel like PN Crew also deserves a little bit of round of applause over here. Just the overall performance they have been showing, and just so much more consistency they have been showing over there was just an absolute beauty coming in. But one more massive disappointment, a team like JyanMaara is not really able to secure, and even a team like RAW not really able to secure that. And of course, GRxHIGHVOLTAGE, PN Crew, and Carnage. Of course, Carnage on the top, PN Crew on the second, and Gurkha on the third are finally going to be making it to PMPL. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a massive announcement.
Yes, Carnage Esports, ladies and gentlemen, are your winners for the PMCO Regional Finals of the Nepali region. I mean, with the way things went out, I mean, there were barely any conversations made about Carnage.
Yeah.
I mean, it was completely building up around Team Elementrix, and this is what consistency does. This
Yeah.
is where consistency takes you right to the tippity top, right to being the king of the hills. And Carnage, of course, is showing such domination over here. This was the team that came in. This was the first PMCO together. They came in, they conquered every other squad. And I'm not just talking about the new teams. There were a few old guards of the PUBG Mobile community of Nepal. They took them down as well. And the
Yep.
kind of a lead that they had, I mean, that was impressive, but nothing taken away again by the boys from PN Crew and also Team GRHV making their slots, booking their tickets for the Pro League.
I mean, certainly they have been just doing an absolutely fantastic job. And one player I'm really impressed by is certainly going to be Ayush from PN Crew because
Yeah.
that man is just so consistent when it comes to his initial performance inside the team. He does his job so well and also managed to secure so many kills in the process as well. But certainly in the kill leader, seems like this time it's going to be Sunday Shu showing himself up with 29 kills. And then Hungry Box, of course. How can I forget about this lad? Of course, Team Vibe's not really able to show up on those leaderboards sometime anytime soon. But a player should always get its appreciation where it deserves. And of course, Hungry Box is going to be one of the players that is going to be showing his name on the kill leaders as well. And certainly they have been doing so well as well. And also Team Cops in the end phases, they were just absolutely decimating over there. And of course, we cannot be taken away from Killer YT as well in those group stages. Those 13 kills performance coming in from that man, and even right now in the end games as well, Killer YT was just putting in so much work from Team Cops, and the entire Team Cops was also just doing really good.
Every single team had their moments of glory,
Yeah,
but it all came down to these top three teams, Ladies and gentlemen, Carnage, PN Crew, GRHV are the teams that you will be watching in the Pro League, along with the other teams that have already qualified from their particular regions. Now,
yep,
with things having, taking such a dramatic turn, the results were, however, constant. The results were, however, stable. Team Elementrix did try to close in, and they were almost this close, but so far. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally done with the PMCOs. And yes, we had a really good time watching all the Nepali talents coming up. And every single
I,
time I come into this region, I absolutely come with that, excitement as to what new am I going to witness. And the same has been with Necro as well. But for
Yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah. But
we
one
will
thing
be,
for now,
yeah,
I
yeah.
really want to say is that I am really sad going into this. I had so many hopes for Elementrix there. In the end, just the overall comeback they made, I really thought this might be a history building itself up this time. Because if Elementrix actually managed to make that comeback in the last second there, that might have been remembered overall in the history. But certainly that didn't happen, and GRHV just came out on top. I'm just so I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, all round of applause to GRHV for actually making it, but just it was just overall a competition, a really well-rounded competition coming up from Elementrix.
Yeah, it certainly was. But
Yeah.
now is the time where we bid adieu. And it was an amazing match over here that we did get to witness, and it was a privilege to have been casted along. But yes, that's about it from our sides. Hope you enjoyed the games, and we will be meeting you at the PMPL. Till then, guys, take care, bye bye, and happy fragging.